Live.
Hey, you know how, like, we've all, as a society, universally agreed that we fucking hate cyclists?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Oh, come on. We all hate cyclists, right?
Sure.
Like, I even like riding my bike around town, but I fucking hate cyclists. There's a difference. There's bike riders and there's cyclists. I'm a bike rider. I stay out of people's way. I take back roads. I ride on the sidewalk when necessary. I don't use those faggy hand signals. If you use a hand signal on a bicycle, it should be illegal not to door you while I'm driving past. Right? I mean, oh, I drive on this shitty 2-lane highway 50 miles out to work, and the speed limit's like 75. And there's these three abject retards. It is a dangerous road. Who during the summer will ride their bicycles to one of the sites. It's halfway out there, so it's like 30 miles out there. They're riding their bicycles in the dark because they have to leave so early on a 2-lane highway, and they walk into that facility like they're the biggest champions. And I'm like, I hope that when you get hit, you're the only one that dies. But anyway, so I figured out who the cyclists of the water are, right? Because Morgan's gym has a pool, and on one day of the week, that pool has free swim. That's on Saturday. You can bring your kids and you could just swim and splash around. Our kids love it. We go do free swim. And there's always some old fucking dickhead who insists on swimming laps during free swim. And he doesn't get out of your way. Like, he just swims at you blindly with the faith that, well, they'll get out of my way. And
To
you
the
just
kids.
yeah, the kids or to the adults or what, they just swim. I'm like, I don't know. You couldn't have picked one of the other fucking 7 days of the week where lap swimming is a thing, you know?
All time is boomer time, man.
It is all boomer time. Like, on your left. No, fuck off and die. Go tomorrow. I can't go tomorrow. You can go tomorrow or the next 6 days after that. I can go today. That's it. Okay? Let my kids splash. I think we're going to go on Saturday. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, if there's one of those stupid, entitled boomer fucks there, I'm just going to sit there in his way and let him just run into me. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you fucking retard. Did you just bump into me? I wasn't moving.
Do you know where you could see a naked boomer right now?
Okay, show me.
I'm not going to show it. It's just in the gym of any bathroom. Any bathroom of any gym, you go walking in, and they're right there, right at the front door. Right, you're walking in, bent over, changing their pants. He's right there, right now, changing his pants. At least that's where he will be the second I'm walking in.
So is that specifically a boomer thing, or is that an old person thing? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean that's all I call old people now, but it's old.
No, I understand that, but I'm trying to figure out like you're Gen X. Are there Gen Xers that do that, or are there still more boomers that do that?
Boomer, I don't see Gen X doing that. It's all
I know, it's pretty crazy because usually we just call old people boomers, but that might actually be the boomer demographic.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm seeing less of them as time goes on and they're getting older. Like it's not like all 50-year-olds suddenly start just letting their dong hang. They just start hanging brain in the locker room, walking up to you and chatting with you, like drying their leg off with their sack, just slapping like a perpetual motion machine between their legs.
I have a theory. I have a theory that they were the class of kids that were forced to get naked at gym class at school.
Yeah, maybe it was.
I think by the time we were there, we weren't forced to do it anymore. And those guys were forced to do it, I'm guessing.
Okay.
That's my guess. But
I mean, that's a lot more charitable than my guess.
Yeah.
My guess was just that they're gross.
So we got a bunch of people all around. I'm Chad would pick. It doesn't show people's names the way it used to name. I think they're people that we know, but Casey, I think that's Casey who we know in there, and Steven, and I think that's Sinatra hanging around. 50 is the new slander number. Yeah, I'm on my way to 50 myself. But and there's Reese though, our Minnesotan.
Oh, Chad's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Chad was. I think the first time we saw Chad was last week.
Oh yeah, Nick, yeah.
Yeah, we got Steve, Casey, Sinatra, and Chad, and Reese.
Flip will be here in a minute. We started late because I totally boomered it myself because I'm a boomer. I'm knocking on the door, so I guess I'll start being naked in the gym bathrooms pretty quick here.
Flip's out throwing concrete milkshakes at border control.
That's what he's doing because that's First Amendment.
That is First Amendment. Man, Don Lemon is such a retard.
Yeah, but I was thinking more just.
I know, but like, just I think I hit on it last week a little bit. But how dumb! Like, I think most people, when they tell a blatant lie like that, it like runs through the back of their head. I'm lying, but I don't think most people are going to understand. I think Don Lemon is dumb enough to think that he's telling the truth. Like, I think he's legitimately stupid enough to because if he were smarter, he would tell a better lie.
Yeah, I guess that's
like he's being like, it's everybody's First Amendment right to like break into private property and screech like a maniac and then not leave when you're told to leave. That's what America's all about, is making people feel uncomfortable by invading their private property.
No, they are going after him because he's a black gay man in America.
I don't even care anymore. Yeah, just do it. I don't care. Like if there's
yeah, sure, dude.
If there's like an old black gay American needs to be arrested clause, we need to get rid of that. But arrest Don Lemon and then get rid of that. It's like you're grandfathered in to be indicted for being black gay American.
Steve says, I remember a guy like that when we took our kids to the pool. His Speedo was so old and faded you could see his crack when he turned. At least the kids thought that was a good laugh. And Big Chris says MTC showers were always a good time. That's true. I heard they got rid of the Tree of Life in there. Didn't we talk about that kind of recently?
We talked about that sometime in between when you went and I went, because you were like,
why is Rebecca Biblioteca not covering that the Tree of Life was taken out of the MTC? That should have been.
She was probably still Mormon at the time. When did you go? You were like 99?
Yeah, I guess. I always forget. No, 98 to 2000.
98? Okay. See, I was 2010 to 12, and the Tree of Life was long gone by then.
Oh, it was already gone when you never had to do the Tree of Life?
Didn't have to do the Tree of Life, no.
Oh, you've only had like partial trauma.
Yeah, you're like, hey, fucking noob. Big pussies haven't gone through my shit.
You want to notice what I noticed about the MTC too? I swear on my life, they had in the bathroom stalls, in the shitters, which were the only things you could use, an extra high door on the shitter, so like you could almost like see right into people's. You could almost see them sitting in there under the door of the shitter.
Yeah, Chad is asking about the Tree of Life. So we just call it Tree of Life. And you said last time you're not familiar with Mormon lore. Tree of Life is a reference to the Book of Mormon, a vision that a prophet has, or is a tree with the fruit of life, basically. And the Tree of Life we're talking about is just a joke on the MTC, the Missionary Training Center. You would go.
I've got a picture of it.
Yeah, you were in dorms. You had a communal shower, and Chris has got it up right now. That's the communal shower. So you're all just butt ass naked in front of each other. So Chris,
it was exactly this one. I think that's that. Well, I mean, that's exactly what I remember being, even in that corner right there.
Yeah. So Chris was about 12 years before me on a mission, and so I didn't experience the Tree of Life. So he got to see way more dong, and I am so jealous.
I just remember being so tired.
Flip, you're muted.
Do we have him muted, or is it the same thing?
No, it's not muted on StreamYard. I don't know. Same thing happened last week.
Let me see if I can see him closer there.
Yeah. No, we can't hear you.
Rats.
But I'm actually really good at lip reading. So if you just say what you're going to say, I'll do my best flip impression.
You can do a flip impression? Oh, can you do a flip impression?
I've never tried. I'd have to. I don't want to do it on the fly. I mean, I could say flip phrases.
How about now?
There we go. Arroz con banana.
Every single one of us chose something to do with the banana and Elon Omar.
The banana people.
Yeah, I'll say
Jared
yours.
chose a hard R vinegar. Oh,
Yeah, I'll say yours, Chris, and you say mine.
See, like that's the thing is like, because I can totally relate to that lady, because I mean, Americans know nothing about Brazilians, and I remember all my friends were freaked out
tacos.
when
You
I
like
told them-
tacos? Do they say that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, but like they were always like growing up, everybody was always freaked out when I said, you know, they're like, well, what do you guys eat? We say rice and beans with bananas. And like people were just completely baffled by that. And I was like, no, it's good. You put the bananas in the beans on the rice. It's great. But
When they asked you what your home life was like, did you go, well, my dad was a banana, my mom was rice. It's not all rice and banana, but it was rice and banana, and rice and banana.
But it was absolutely the case that like when I was a missionary, because you know the members would feed us, and I went to the white breadest place possible outside of Utah, which was Northern California. And every time the sister, whoever was feeding us, like, you know, they always want to know our backstories. Like when you go, like we used to joke about how we wanted to have business cards printed up. It's like, I'm from Utah. I have 3 siblings.
It's
you know,
not
whatever.
very
like,
close to California.
Yeah. And but anyway, they knew I was Brazilian, and so like I can't tell you how many times some perfectly well-meaning, you know, like now obviously I'm woke, so I just slapped it out of their hands and called them racist. Some well-meaning Mormon lady would say, "I'm sure these enchiladas aren't as good as your mother's."
Yeah.
Like, no, in Brazil, a taco is the thing you hit a golf ball with. But like that's Americans definitely like, there's Texas, and south of Texas is Mexico, and then it's just Mexico all the way to Tierra del Fuego, and then you hit penguins, and that's what Americans think.
Well, it's you get really I don't know. When I heard I was going to Brazil, I was like, I gotta get used to really spicy food, because South America is spicy food, Mexico spicy food, and then I get to Brazil, and I'm not a spicy food guy. I missed it. I missed spicy food. I found Tabasco sauce. I bought it and I brought it around with me. And they would see it and they would be like, "Oh, pimento americano. No quiero tocar. No vou tocar, no."
There's when I went down there when I was in the mid 90s, we went down to visit family, and my aunt was upper middle class by Brazilian standards, so she had the little house in back that was originally the maid's house, which they converted into an apartment for sister missionaries. And so before we went down there, you know, and this was the 90s, it was before Amazon, obviously, before the internet, before the modern global world. And so we phoned ahead and like, hey, do the sisters want anything from America? And the only thing they asked for was taco seasoning. Like literally, we brought them packages of whatever, Knorr brand, the little sachets of taco seasoning. Like, really? Like you've been there so long.
You
don't
understand.
You want.
No, they were totally right. You don't understand. I think I probably told this story before, but I was in this area where some American missionary left a couple packets of taco seasoning, and I had this Brazilian companion, and I saw it and I was like, "Oh, dude, tacos! We should make tacos!" And he's like, "What the fuck are tacos?" And I was like,
"Want to go golfing?"
Yeah, and I was like, "All right, it's a Mexican food, kinda, And he's like, "What do you do?" Well, you guys don't have tortillas, so we're gonna have to make them. He's like, "What's a tortilla?" It's a pancake, okay? It's like it's a better pancake to put meat on. And so I had to make tortillas. I put the taco seasoning on, cut up some tomatoes, some cheese, some lettuce, all this shit. And then I gave it to him, and he's like, he ate a couple bites. He's like,
It was so hot for him.
Dude, what is wrong? He's like, you put some of your Tabasco sauce on that, didn't you? I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, what did you put on this? It's so hot. And I actually couldn't think of it, because taco seasoning to me does not register as spicy.
Oh no, it's not.
I would never have considered that. And then I figured that out. That's what it was. And so for 2 hours after that, yeah.
My mom literally, like, if my mom was in the same room as black pepper, she went, "Hey, that's too spicy. You poisoned it. Why did you put poison in the food?"
That's not actual South Park, is it?
I don't think it was. I think people are making their own
there's-
AI South Parks, but they sound just like them when they do it.
Definitely AI South Park. You can tell because they're goofy, but it's.
I was basically raised on bananas and rice, okay, in a Somali daycare, which was very formative, and people don't get that that's like culture and nutrition. So when I speak from.
In light of recent conversations, we are proposing a pilot program to transition public
That's like Trey's voice, right?
That
The
is
AI in his
Trey's voice. That's
school lunches to bananas and rice.
Huh? Wait, what?
I don't be afraid of playing it because like South Park stuff gets you dinged. But
This is about inclusion. This is about listening. And frankly, the people are demanding like bananas and rice.
Decided to announce new products, bananas
but yeah, that didn't look right.
and rice.
Yeah, the
Available
arm
at
was
select
weird. The
Walmarts
bodies are weird.
nationwide.
Yeah, the bodies are way too big.
He's all
Yeah, that doesn't look like a South Park face at all.
empty. Every single one.
No way. This can't be real.
Bananas and rice, gone.
Guys, you're seeing this like there's nothing, just cardboard.
Look, this internet guy is simply wrong. We have strict oversight. They looked in the boxes before they were filled, and I can assure you, so clearly, nothing happened.
So the bananas and the rice,
Yeah, that's
they were
wrong.
stolen. We don't know by who.
But,
We don't know when. They just,
What's that?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very wrong.
when you look at his body, it's wrong. The AI actually
was-
makes it too proportional.
I saw another one of those AI South Parks that was actually, it was an idea that was actually funny enough that it could have been actual South Park, which is that GTA 6 comes out and it's just Minnesota.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know?
The way her face lights up, like she.
Oh, I got it.
See, like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but
It's so weird, like,
This is so easy to fix. This is so easy because before she spat on that officer and got arrested, I kind of wanted to defend this fucking idiot because, like, I understand what she's trying to say. I really do.
Yeah.
She said it in the most retarded way possible because it's not like bananas and rice. And then she comes back and does a metaphor. She's trying to describe it as a metaphor, but using bananas and rice. She's trying to say it's like a fusion that you wouldn't expect, right? Being Somali and being American. It's sort of this fusion of two things that don't seem like they would work. But when you put them together in a dish, it actually really fucking works. And but she does not have fucking speak.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think this joke will land, but how is it that she became a Wadi girl? See, it didn't land. Wadi is Arabic for valley, but she's a valley girl. How come it takes one?
Yeah, you're dropping these things that we'd have to take as much Arabic as you've taken.
No, the joke did land because you knew it wasn't going to land. And so the punchline was that it wasn't going to land. So you nailed that
The
one.
joke is also funny too. If we had known
Yeah.
before, I also would have laughed.
If
But
I'd have
Well,
known Arabic,
I'm both laughing at the joke and that you thought we would know it. Yeah.
Well, because Guadalajara is just a
That's
Spanish-ified Arabic. It's Wadi al
Wow, I had no idea,
It
but I did
means
know
the-
that Spanish was a mixture of Latin and Arabic.
It means the Stone Valley, the Fortress Valley. But a wadi is a dry river valley. But yeah, it's amazing. It takes exactly one generation to go from traditional Somali culture to make a completely moronic, brain dead valley girl with a hijab.
She's like, and we were talking about, I've talked about it before. The first time I'm learning about the whole Hegelian dialectic thing. And so when you combine two things, you only get the shitty parts of both things. You get the shittiest Somalian and the shittiest American. And you get rid of all, you throw out, you're like, don't throw the bathwater out with the baby on either side.
Strawberry City thought Wadi Somali was brilliant. So she got arrested after that. This is Pam Bondi announcing arrests. And there she is right there. Somebody said, this, like, what's the likelihood that someone makes headlines in their movement and anti-ICE in 2 separate instances? What's the likelihood that 2 people do? Pretty likely, because it's just a small circle making life difficult for the millions against the express wishes. But it's just like, yeah, the fact that they keep popping up in multiple different videos is kind of an indication that they're highly active out there. But
10 of them.
All 10 of them. I don't know, I think there's more than that, but
Oh, I'm joking.
Brian Johnson moved his office into a hyperbaric chamber.
I am so happy. I'm so excited to see how fucking absurd this guy gets.
Yeah. I like how I said hyperbolic. I felt like Candace right there. Have you been following all the Candace misspoken words?
No, is there a supercut?
There's a whole Twitter channel that's just called Candace Owens Tries to Read, and it's all the words she mispronounced.
I was gonna point one out a couple weeks ago when I forgot. I'm pissed off.
Well,
now.
she's just added more and more and more since. So I'll pull some up. She says stuff like, what is it? She says architecture, and she says it like on repeat, and she says green beret, and that's very macabre. A very macabre experience, and she has a lot of different ones. It's like there's a whole Twitter thing of like Candace Owens tries to read.
You know what's crazy to me? Do you know what a sawzall is?
Yeah.
No.
It's something Mexicans use to take catalytic converters off of Toyotas.
Yeah, it's an electric saw, and it's just called a sawzall. It saws all.
It's a handheld.
Right?
It's a handheld rotary saw.
Yeah, so it's a friction saw, back and forth, not like a band saw. But anyway, we use them a ton at work, and it blows my mind. All of these guys out here know so much more about this shit than I do. Not the radiation part, but like the reciprocating saw. That's what they're saying. Not the radiation part, but they know more about like construction, deconstruction, not the gay kind, the actual deconstructing buildings kind, demolition, all of that handyman shit. They know way more about me than I do. But they always pronounce sawzall. They say sawzaw.
A sawzall?
Like, so many of them are like, we got to go get some more blades for the sawzall. Like, why are you saying that? I'm looking. I thought they were like gaslighting me, and then I looked at it and was like, no, it is sawzall. I was right.
Riso says Guadalajara is Arabic. Mind blown. Every word that starts with al in Spanish is Arabic. So alfombra, or almost all the words that start with a.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, like everything in Spanish that starts al.
Algodón.
Yep, algodón. Every single one of them.
That's Arabic.
But that's what Spanish is, because the Moors invaded Spain. Spanish is Arabicized Latin. How do you say Arabicized? There's probably a word for that. It's
Arabicized.
Arabitasticized, I think.
Arabicism. That's one of the things they say. Like, one of the things that makes Spanish and Portuguese different is that there are about 4,000 Arabic words in everyday Spanish usage, but in Portuguese it's way less. It's like more like 1,000. But even in English, sugar is Arabic. Alcohol is Arabic. There's a whole, but not cotton is Arabic. Like in English, we dropped the owls, but
azúcar and
azúcar. So that is actually closer to Arabic. Well, also actually that's things in Spanish and Spanish and Portuguese. It's azúcar because in Arabic there are certain letters that the al becomes elided, where it disappears, and so arroz is because in Arabic rice is spelled al-rus, but the L gets elided, so it becomes aruz. Aruz. And so al-sukar becomes asukar. But azeite, because it's al-zaytun, azaytun, acetuna in Spanish. That's Arabic.
There's a list of them.
Wait, what's that?
Alcalde, algodón, almohada, arroz. Oh, flipping an Arabic word in his name. Azúcar.
Hey, what's the word? What's the word for acoustic guitar in Spanish?
Guitarra.
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 Oh, okay. You see, in Portuguese, guitarra is electric guitar, and violão is acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, really? No, yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 different words for it. It's kind of funny.
Do you guys know what this is referring to? It was posted in the Lobsters. It was. I thought it was.
I don't know. Was there something in the
meme.
Was there something in the journal discourses about how like the gateway to the spirit world is in
Nah, it's
Antarctica
better.
or something?
I'll show you right here.
Is there such thing as insanity among penguins? These penguins are all heading.
This is like an old video. I don't know why it's going so viral now. The Ambler.
Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away.
I love that little guy.
Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains.
Always the horizon. When people ask me, LP, why don't you just stop? Because he never did.
That's some good internet right there.
That's fucking awesome. That actually felt inspirational. Always the horizon, just waddling. To purpose.
And literally, no, he was reaching Joseph Smith and the Tree of Life. There's the Tree of Life for you back there, Chad.
Oh yeah. There's something that's weirdly compelling about penguins. I don't know exactly what it is, but everybody on Earth loves penguins, and nobody's ever met one.
That is true.
Well, I mean, like at the zoo, I guess.
I was gonna call myself Tom Mormon Cruise because the big video was put out this week of that one guy, Heliocentric, having reviewed Mormons inviting him on a cruise, an atheist on a cruise, and he gave them all positive super reviews because of how super duper nice they are to him.
He must not be like me and deduct for cringe.
He also just kind of went into detail, like they're so nice, they just don't even panic at all if you tell them you're an atheist or any sort of thing like that. They just treat everybody like it's the same, and all these evangelicals should learn from them. And
I
of course,
guess, like, are high-ranking evangelicals who invite you on a cruise gonna panic when you tell them you're an atheist? Because, like, they know you're an atheist. That's why they're inviting you. Like, granted, I don't think that Cardin or Jacob or any of those people, for all their faults, I don't think they would panic if they're having a nice conversation with a guy and he says, I'm an atheist. I don't think they'll panic. But
yeah.
You know what I love more than exploiting my platform for free vacations? Mormons.
yeah, so he had that whole thing, and he said they're just unbelievably nice, and everybody could learn from them being nice, and they're so nice. And then, of course, at the end, said if only they were nice to gays.
wait a minute, did he drink booze on this?
No, I mean, he kind of joked that he was gonna. He gambled on it, but he just gambled to get video of it and won like $2 on it.
See, because like I made some dig at the Mormon cruise being cringe, and Jacob responded to me saying, we had a lot of fun. We invited this atheist guy. Maybe next year you and your wife can be my guest. So, and in my head, I was like, I don't know, if you provide me with like an open bar, then yeah, but if I don't get a drink, no fucking way, buddy.
I also wonder, because like my understanding is that for most cruises anyway, like alcohol is where they make their profit. Like they're kind of like casinos where they lose money on the room, they lose money on the food, they make their money on the booze and gambling.
So like, dang, no more.
And so like when they're like
cruises,
they're like, wow, we got booked up 5. Oh shit, it's Mormons.
Holy shit! Guess what just happened 40 minutes ago?
What?
Uh-oh.
Hassan got banned from Twitch.
What? What did he do? Murder a Jew? I mean,
Yeah,
that wouldn't get him banned. That wouldn't get him banned.
Strangle a puppy live on camera?
Strangle a puppy while murdering a Somali pirate. That's the only thing that would. He turned on the Somali pirate that he was glazing.
I don't know. That all I'm seeing is little headlines that say that he called people Zionist pigs or something. I'm like, why would Twitch give a fuck about that? They never. That is far from the worst thing Hassan has ever said. He'll be back in a day.
I don't know. Maybe there's some money coming to it from Ellison or something like that. Now that's the only way that they take it over. But
did any of you watch the Peter Boghossian with that?
Yeah, I've got some stuff on
Muslim lady.
Oh no, not that one.
Oh,
because it was a whole interview with a British lady who's a non-religious Muslim, and she's the child of Pakistani immigrants. And the whole thing was about how she gets death threats because she's like, Britain needs to mass deport Pakistanis. But one thing that she talked about, because like
I watched Ayan Hirsi Ali on Dave Rubin, and she was like, deport all these Somalis, and she's Somalian.
Yeah. But like she mentions that because he asked him like, what's the anti-Semitism situation in England, and she's like, Pakistanis are super anti-Semitic. And like one of the things she talked about how is like in Urdu, it's all Yehudi, 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 Yehudi. In English, they're like, no, it's Zionists and Israelis. We don't have a problem with Jews. But then they'll switch back to Urdu and be like, fucking Jews, fucking Jews.
We don't even have a word for Zionists. We don't separate it out. Anyway, these cruises do have a chance to make up their booze. Here, there's Colby Reddish in the comments. What a cool video. I wonder how fun it would be to come on the ex-Mormon cruise and compare. We're doing one in September.
I bet that he would have more fun with the Mormons. It would be less preachy, and he'd be more welcome.
Well, I think both of them would kind of do a Potemkin cruise of like, look how great and nice we are. There's no extreme purity testing over here on this side. We're not like those Mormons.
Okay. If it's seriously, it's based on how drunk I'm allowed to get. Because if I would have to be drunk for either of those.
So you have more fun with the ex-Mormon?
I probably just stay in my cabin. I don't know. there is 0.05% of me that would think that it could possibly be fun to go on the Mormon cruise. And there is 0% of me that thinks it could possibly be fun to go on the ex-Mormon cruise. That's about it. They're neck and neck, but one of them is absolutely.
If I had to choose between one and the other, I would totally do the Mormon cruise.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember,
interesting, the conversations would be more interesting.
If you remember, though, Bill Reel got into it with some people because there was people saying, "How do you not have women on this ex-Mormon cruise?"
Because women suck. Okay, are we going to admit it yet? Women just suck. That's mask off. we hate women. You were right about everything. It's a patriarchy. We hate women. That's why.
But Bill did kind of put him in his place. He's like, I want to go with people. I'm going to have fun with it. Screw you. And of course, it lit up that one gal with the murder podcast, the ex-Mormon murder podcast. Just said, this is how they all are. They all live this way. They're all patriarchy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like women jokes aside, like if I'm just picking two at random. If I could either hang out with like, I don't know, Sam Shelley, Cara Burrell, that one you were just mentioning, or even Colby Reddish, I'd choose Colby like 1,000 times over. It's not that women are terrible. It's that there's really fucking slim pickings in the ex-Mormon world. Like the ex-Mormon woman influencer I would prefer to hang out with the most is probably Rebecca Biblioteca, unless I'm not thinking of another one.
Yeah, Rebecca Biblioteca seems chill enough.
She seems like a real nice lady. We probably wouldn't have a lot in common, but I would way rather hang out with her than Cara Burrell, who I probably have more in common with.
Yeah, Cara Burrell would be a nightmare. Maven would be a nightmare. I mean, most of it,
Maven is dead last. Like Maven, I would rather hang out with I don't know. I'm trying to think of the worst thing possible.
With a wet blanket.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Just to keep
I was going to think of something really funny. You were going to laugh so hard at what I was about to say.
This happened this week. Our old, what do you call it? A chastiser, no nonsense spirituality. Britt Hartley had on Dwight Schrute, and Bill Reel got to sit in on it. I listened to half of it before I got terribly bored. Then I made this post over on Lobsters, just kind of making fun of what they were all saying, which says, Eckhart Tolle says we are universe God noticing the smell of our own bum cracks. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson teaches, we can measure that science is more gooder now. I just think all the old spirituality was perfect, except the gays weren't completely centered, and we can maybe change that. And Jesus is awesome, but he signals Trump now, so I never mention Jesus. Can't we all just quit oil?
I'm bleary.
So I put that all in the mouth of Dwight. He didn't say all those. He did say some of those. A lot of those came out of.
And then you started. And then
I had Brent say the copy pasta. If you remember the copy pasta, when she went into lobsters and she got upset with the people in Latter-day Lobsters giving her arguments, and it's a longer thing than this. I just put the very first bit of it to reference it. She goes, "Do you?" In the lobsters thing, says, "Do you guys know how hard you would be laughed at by almost any formal academic setting for the arguments you give to me, even in junior high school debate?" And it just went on and on and on, and that's become a copy pasta. Now people post that.
It was hilariously pathetic because she was in there for maybe 2 days, one at the least, but that went on to talk about how I'm sure I'll be banned really soon, and we're all just like, Britt Hartley, how many Facebook groups have you been banned from? What opinions do you have that will get you kicked out of groups? Any of the groups you're in.
Spirituality is just really spiritual, and we're just the universe being spiritual.
Like, oh, these guys like Jordan.
No nonsense.
Like Jordan Peterson, and they'll kick me out of their group because I shit on Jordan Peterson. I could post in that group right now. I believe that God told me that Jordan Peterson is a pedophile, and they wouldn't kick me out.
She does have a lot of kind of like hot Harari takes. Maybe I'll pull up some of those Harari takes. Hot Harari takes.
You always talk about they're not hot Harari takes. You always talk about Stacker. Stacker is the Harari of the Mormon world.
Harari. Jonathan Streeter got chastised in I guess it was over on Mormon Stories. I think I have the clip of it somewhere, but a guy told him, like, all you guys talking about the stuff, Harari's already covered it. Harari's already got he's already got it down. And
guys, did you know money's not real? It's all a social construct. I always think Dr. Nick when I think Harari.
What do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games. The idea of the social credit is to monetize everything, to give value to every single thing you do in life. It has positive potential in some regards. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for much better healthcare based on 24 hours monitoring of what's happening inside their bodies. This is the end of human history. Not the end of history, the end of human-dominated history. History will continue with somebody else in control. AI can even write a new Bible. All the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. Human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story. Companies like Apple and Google will have tons and tons of data on your body, on your most private affairs and conditions. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. In order to collaborate on a large scale, you need to convince everybody to believe in the same story. The engine of history is stories. And they don't even need to be true.
It's like he's trying to say evil things. He's like a comic book villain, like Klaus Schwab. Maybe we are in a simulation.
Yeah, the comment that Jonathan got was, Harari Sapiens has all the unifying myth with none of the bullshit attached. You and Jordan Peterson need to pull your heads out of your asses. The United States is uniquely selfish because of our shared mythology. Scandinavia can raise productive citizens spending time virtue signaling about injustices that aren't directly tied to their own productive life because cooperation is their mythology.
Hi, everybody. There's too many humans. We need to call the herd.
Risa says,
hi, everybody. You need to not care about privacy. We'll put a brain in your anus and you... God damn it. It was going to be funny.
I listened to 2 of his books and the whole way through. And of course, Bill Reel's one of them says, just Sapiens just changed my world. And every ounce of Sapiens, just listening to me, was just stupid hot take after stupid hot take like that. Like, did you know that rules, we just dream them up ourselves? They don't have to have them that way all the time. We can change them. Like, thanks, friggin' Harari.
Yeah, whenever somebody, it's like the more modern equivalent of. I remember this dude at work. I was reading a book. I think it was when I was really into Dostoevsky. He's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, it's just I'm trying to read through a bunch of classics to see if they're actually any good." And he's like, "Are they?" I was like, "Oh, this one's pretty good." And he's like, "Oh man, yeah, last book I read, dude. The God Delusion, Richard Dawkins," and it just. And I was like, "I think less of you." Like, I don't even dislike Richard Dawkins. He's like endearing to me. He's a very smart guy. The Selfish Gene is awesome. And I still have really only read the spark notes of that. But the God Delusion is not awesome to me. Like I guess I haven't read all of that one either. But I watched so many. When I left the Mormon church, I watched so many of his arguments. And it all equates to, if God real, why bad thing happen, basically.
Yeah.
But Harari's
I read all of the God Delusion back in the day and was like, yeah. But yeah, I think most people were hardcore Dawkins guys were more into the Selfish Gene because it said so much about so many other things, introduced the concept of the meme, all that sort of stuff.
It's cooler. It's so much cooler.
I love the Selfish Gene. Like, that was the book that did more to change how I thought about life and Earth and everything than any other book.
Yeah,
it's
well,
kind of funny that's the same, like this. It's the same author, but like if you tell me, man, my mind was blown by the God Delusion, I'm like, I don't really want to have conversations with you. If you tell me my mind was blown by the Selfish Gene, I'll be like, I'm willing to learn from you. That's such a a cool idea.
The God Delusion, reading that was the thing that like snipped the final thread of my theism. But it wasn't like a huge revelation. It was just like, I don't even remember very much about that book, but I just remembered like basically the idea that
yeah, there's like a permission thing about it. It's like a permission to say, oh yeah, I don't think that
basically like it's just the way he worded, I don't know how he worded it, but just the basic idea being that God doesn't answer anything. Like the universe is exactly as understandable whether or not you believe in God. And I was like, oh yeah. Like,
well, he says he leaves in there the concept of possibly like the deism or something, like the God of Spinoza, as he says it. But
well, yeah, exactly. I mean that's I've said for a while that like theism or pantheism and atheism are functionally indistinguishable to me. Like everything is God. Like, all right. So
I guess I don't know. I was on board with that. The whole deism makes more sense than theism, but I feel like the more I thought about it, like, why would deism make more sense than theism?
No, exactly. Like, yeah,
it doesn't. It splits. We're just talking. All we're really talking about is the creation of the universe intentional or not?
Yeah.
And deism and theism both say yes.
That's the thing I felt for a long, long time now is like, is there a God? Doesn't matter. Do we have free will? Makes no difference. Like
Risto says, I wish Dawkins had studied some more philosophy and theology. Alex O was kind of brutal towards Dawkins. Alex O was brutal towards Hitchens too, but just on the philosophical ends of things.
Well, that's something else I was thinking about is because like as excited
Hitchens would be coming around to it too, like a whole lot nowadays, of just being like, yeah, there's something, some flavor of Christianity to the societies that I like, and that might be a necessary part of the soup of them,
I was thinking it's funny because for a while there, Jacob Hansen and Ward Radio were just absolutely buzzing. They were so happy that Alex O'Connor said that Mormonism was more the word escapes me all the time, more reasonable.
Reasonable, yeah.
I can't remember the exact word. There's a better word for it. But then, like just last week, he released
that, I think.
Well, no, I mean, like he's it's true. I think he really thinks that, but it's he still rates it as close to unreasonable as to be dismissible. But like just this week, he did a whole long interview with one of the physicist guys. What was it? I can't think of it now. But anyway, like the title of the video is "The Very Best Argument for God is Crap." And it's like, and I just wonder, it's like, are Jacob Hansen and Ward Radio going to cover that one and suck Alex's dick as hard as they did when he said that, hey, at least Mormons have witnesses, unlike the Bible,
Who was it?
I'll
see if I find it.
Was it the fine-tuning argument or something?
Yeah, name the super famous physicists from nowadays. And
physicists like Lawrence Krauss.
That's what I was thinking it might have been.
I think it was Krauss. I think that's the guy.
Maybe.
Just do YouTube Alex O'Connor. Alice O'Connors.
O'Connors.
He's the O'Connor. Oh, Sean Carroll. I
don't even know.
But really?
I don't know.
He's one of the
dummy. I know him.
Yeah.
I know all the physicists.
Do you even popular science?
No, I don't fucking love science. I only friggin' love it.
I was chuckling to myself for a couple of weeks now because I was thinking about, I saw, on the internet or something, or statement about like, the kinds of phony empathy leftist statements like, I believe that no child should go hungry. And I was thinking to myself like, well, Sarah Van Bronckhorst of Bloomington, Indiana, fuck her. She deserves to go hungry. She's the only one though, because I just don't have empathy. I just think that some children deserve to go hungry because I don't have empathy. Like,
I don't believe in slaughtering innocent people.
There are 3 children that deserve to go hungry, in my estimation. Just because it's such a.
There are only one race that deserves to be genocided. The rest of them, no.
Well, I was actually thinking today about all this stuff about like everybody's bragging about the signs going up in businesses, like no ice. I'm like, wow, we're just right back to the 1960s. Like, are they going to have the ice lunch counter protest? We're like, we just want to have salad. Like, we've been in law enforcement. We've been part of border enforcement since Obama, and it's only in the last 6 months that you guys decided that we're beneath humanity. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Here you go. This is a
what? Why? Oh, because I'm doing something. I'm waiting for you guys to praise me. What? Why? Oh, because I'm doing something anti-racist, and I think I deserve praise for that. Do I not?
You don't get praise for telling people you're not racist.
Then why am I doing it? I'm waiting for you. Anti-racist, and I think I deserve praise for that. Do I not?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that episode, or if it did, it was slipped in. If they're talking anti-racism, it's probably got to be a most recent one that I haven't seen. But
back into that, It's Always Sunny might be one of my favorite comedies ever. It's like top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I only fell off of that one because stuff always happens. Like you watch stuff by season 8 and you binge it, and then you're supposed to catch it one at a time from that point, and you don't.
Yeah,
and you're like, dang it! Now if I watched it, I feel like I need to start it over.
Yeah, no, I've done that a couple times with It's Always Sunny, and it's never a chore to rewatch the previous.
Yeah, it would be fun to rewatch them, but I do feel that happens to me with a lot of different shows. Like I fell off from binging it halfway through, and I have not kept up since.
Yeah, we did that with Fallout because I don't know, maybe Fallout's actually not very good, and like the bar was just so low for video game adaptations that I was like, wow, this isn't god awful, so it's awesome.
I love the Fallout games.
Me too.
And I was 1,000% prepared to hate the Fallout series.
Me too.
People are saying the second season's stinky.
Really?
I haven't watched it.
I mean, okay, so I'm enjoying it. It definitely has some issues, but it's not bad at all. I think it's mostly quite good. I think, like, generally speaking, like the production is excellent. It's well cast. They got the tone of the thing pretty good. Like, they sprinkle in some fan servicey jokes. Like, you know, early in the first season, they made the side quest joke, but they handled it well, and they didn't perseverate on it. Like, yeah, it's not perfect.
Well,
Like,
the main character is pretty great. I liked her.
yeah, no, they did. Yeah,
And Walton Goggins is like my favorite part of anything he's in.
see, like, and this is the only thing I know of Walter Goggins, but
Oh, dude,
Oh, you haven't seen him in other stuff?
The Righteous
Yeah.
Gemstones. He's my favorite character in the whole thing.
He's always popped up on those HBO series of comedy with what's the dude's name? The star guy of those? The baseball one and the
the Danny McBride one.
Danny McBride. Yeah, he's in all like the Danny McBrides. He's in one called like Substitute Teachers with him and
Eastbound and Down.
I can tell, like, you can tell that he is a phenomenal actor, because even though he's done up in makeup and has his nose digitally removed, and like, if you didn't know it's Walter Goggins, you probably wouldn't know.
Oh.
But
You know
he is such
he
a
was in the most
phenomenal
recent
actor.
season of White Lotus, and
know
White
what was-
Lotus is the one I've recommended. It has Jennifer Coolidge and the dude from Gentleman Broncos writing it.
So you know what's crazy is that I so he was my favorite part of Righteous Gemstones. I think you'd like the first season's my favorite. The other ones, I think the first is all you need, but it's awesome. And then I watched Fallout, and I was like, oh, awesome, Walton Goggins. I recognized him right away in the trailer as the Ghoul. And then I actually went back and rewatched Sons of Anarchy, and Morgan like walked in, and she saw there's a tranny character in it, and she goes, "Hey, it's Baby Billy," and I was like, "What? No." And she's like, "Yeah, it's Baby. That's his character in Righteous Gemstones." It's like, "No," and I look it up, and yeah, it's Walton Goggins. He plays a tranny in Sons of Anarchy, and I texted my dad. I was like, "Holy crap! Did you know that was Walton Goggins?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." And I was like, "What?" Because I had already seen Sons of Anarchy, and I was like, "Oh my god." I feel like such a transphobic dick. I recognized Walton Goggins as a zombie-looking ghoul from Fallout before I recognized him as a tranny.
Yeah, that is the mark of an actual actor.
Have you seen the Saturday Night Live Second Amendment skit that he's in?
What?
I'm trying to find it on Twitter, because I think if I played it off of YouTube, I'd get dinged for it. But usually, like, you can get away with stuff on Twitter if somebody's loaded it up on there. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Should we talk about Walton Goggins?
Talk more Walter Goggins.
Actually, okay, so season 1 of Righteous Gemstones is easily the best, but the best Walton Goggins is season 2. He actually has like a character arc. It's actually really weird, because they're like Joel Osteen style mega pastors, and they're all like fake. John Goodman is the main one, and he's like the most real, like the closest to sincere. He's still mega wealthy and hypocritical. His kids are just spoiled fucks. Like, they're pieces of shit. It's Danny McBride, Adam Devine, and I cannot remember the woman's name, but she's really great too. And Walton Goggins plays his brother-in-law, who is another pastor and is constantly trying to rip people off. But it's weird that you don't expect it to happen. You just expect it to be a flat comedy, but there's a little bit of drama in it. And at the end, you're actually, it humanizes the mega pastors, which you do not expect at all. Like, who does that? Who humanizes televangelists? And then Walton Goggins has a really great character arc in the second one, where Macaulay Culkin plays his son that he abandoned at a mall for being a hunchback when he was like 8 years old.
Here, I found it.
Now, what shall we discuss next? What is the second most important principle of our nation?
Guns.
Excuse me?
Guns.
I don't hate that. I do. It's ridiculous. So, what is your name?
Matt.
Matt what?
Matt, don't you worry about it.
Well, Matt, what will posterity say of us if the second right we enshrine in this document is simply guns?
Yeah, we don't get the women until 19.
That we don't play.
Damn, that's actually kind of sick. Yes.
No. The idea is ludicrous.
Wait, now hold on. I mean, we did just make a law that said anyone can say whatever crazy stuff they want, right? Maybe this gun thing would kind of balance that out.
Bingo.
Okay, yes, but by the same token, wouldn't having a gun embolden people to say crazy stuff as well?
Bro, what?
Yeah. What? That makes sense. We cannot just have an amendment that says guns. What about guns?
Having them.
Ooh, smart.
Like, who is this guy? Why isn't he running this?
Matt, I am open to discussing guns for a later amendment, but I must insist we move on to a more pressing concern.
Fag.
You're screaming.
So angry.
Sir, where are you from exactly?
America.
Yes, but where in America? Which state?
A united one.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Saw him in Seven Samurai High and Low and Stray Dog. I didn't know it was the same guy.
Oh yeah, High and Low. I never even bothered because I heard it was
the new one.
A terrible adaptation, and like I don't need a perfect movie ruined by modernity.
Well, it's time to talk about Minnesota.
But wait, Seven Samurai. Did they remake Seven Samurai?
Didn't they make it as the?
Oh, he's talking about Toshido Mifune. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think.
I was gonna say, yeah,
movies of that.
Like, yeah, and like, God help us if they remake Seven Samurai. I don't.
I need to start watching Kurosawa for Reese though.
I hope you like long scenes of men not looking at each other and not saying very much.
Oh man, it sounds like Drive.
We got to get the facts from the fact sayer.
Oh Christ!
Hey everybody, I know this is outside my wheelhouse, and I apologize for the.
Oh fuck! When has that ever stopped you before? You fucking idiot!
Like, you're really sorry to mouth off.
What is outside? You're a linguist here. You're a fucking linguist. So anything involving words, you put squarely in your fucking wheelhouse. Which, by the way, everything you talk about involves words. So that's how you shoehorn your bullshit lefty nonsense, your leftist rhetorical prophylaxis in there.
I thought he was going to talk about his shirt of Sade. Oh, yeah, he's totally into that.
Should be allowed to talk about nothing but the Bible and religion on my channel, but the Department of Homeland.
I think you should not be allowed to talk about that either.
You make me not believe in free speech, Dan.
Security has illegally ended the life of another American today. And I want to show you that the video that has been circulating about this demonstrates conclusively that the victim was unarmed at the moment the first shot was fired, despite what DHS claims. So the agent who fires the shots is actually engaged in a scuffle on the...
What did you say?
This is the hatchling.
Yeah.
This whole idea that like if someone doesn't have a weapon in their hand, then they cannot. It's impossible for someone to pose a threat. Like, I mean, there's a lot of hatchling stuff with these shootings going on, but the one I like so much is like when they say like, so now holding a cell phone is a death sentence. And like seriously, like I feel like I feel like it's Star Trek, and I'm explaining humans to aliens. They're like, on Earth, we can hold a phone with one hand and shoot a gun with the other. This is a thing that is possible to happen on planet Earth.
What studies do you have that show this? Do you have any studies on this? It's inconclusive, but there's no studies. I don't know if I want to even listen to this whole. I don't want to look at the thing, but
who is visibly filming from the other side of this event. But what seems to be clear from this video is that the first shot was fired after the victim had already been disarmed. And then later in the video, you can see the agent who fired lower his weapon and then raise it while backing away to continually fire into the victim's body. Now, it seems, based on the fact that the agent in the gray coat retrieved the firearm from the right hip of the victim, that his gun was holstered, that he does not seem to have reached for it. This is a question, though, that I think we need more footage to be able to answer. But what is clear is that the victim was unarmed when the agent began shooting into his back initially.
I feel like both sides of this are mostly retarded, like almost equally so. I usually don't say this because I don't know if they were talking about it at work the other day and talking about how it's an execution, and I was like, okay, look, there is the argument that the gun went off, like, because this gun misfires a lot, and if those cops, they thought they were under fire, so they shot into him, and I would say this would be legally justifiable and a tragedy if that's the case. And they're like, well, if I hear gunshots go off, I'm not going to look to the guy who's on the ground. And I was like, the guy you just took a gun off, who's in the middle of this scuffle? Of course you would. You took a gun off him. He could have another one, you fucking idiot. But the thing is, actually, like, Nate the lawyer actually made the best case for this, and I think I agree with him completely. Did you watch that video?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
I think he's totally right.
Okay, two things. This is another hatchling issue.
What did he describe?
What he talks about is that the cop who initiated the low level aggression is the most to blame, right? Because the one punching the girl, the one pushing the woman because she wasn't in the way of their vehicles. She wasn't.
What was that white car she was in front of? She wasn't on the sidewalk. She was in front of a white car.
I don't remember. I'd have to watch it again, but I watched this video and I was like, I think I'm on board with Nate the lawyer here. I think justice wears a little bit off.
Except for one thing, like with Nate the lawyer, is that so he's going off of what's on the video, and if the video is everything, he makes a very strong case. Thing is, it's perfectly possible that there are events before the videos start that could make, because his whole thing is that the cop who initially uses force on those ladies, that they were committing no crime, so therefore that was not a lawful arrest. If that's all the story, then yeah, that seems very likely. But it's also very possible that they did something that could justify a lawful arrest before that. I don't know. But then here's the other hatchling thing that both sides of this are doing, is that there is an entire spectrum of possibility between it was a justified shooting and it was out of control ICE agents murdering people for fun because Donald Trump told them so. Which is also, I wanted to do, I was imagining a sketch where it's like a bunch of ICE officers are in a meeting before they go out on shift, and they're all veterans, like they've been there for 15 years. They've got they're Christians, they're family men, they've been in law enforcement their whole lives, good citizens, and they're in this meeting at ICE, and the guy hands out some paper. He's like, all right, we're Nazis now, just FYI, this whole thing that we've been doing for decades, we're not doing that anymore. We are now rounding up brown people, kidnapping them, putting them in concentration camps, and we're shooting lesbians for fun. And everybody goes, okay. The boss says.
You could just do you could do like an unveiling, like a ribbon cutting for the same facility that was always there. And under Obama, it was called a detention center. And under Trump, it's called a concentration camp. And then under Biden, we're like, we're actually going to go back to detention. We're going to do all the same things.
That is something that I remember clearly in my mind, is like a week into Biden being elected, and New York Times was like, oh, so here's the detention centers. Like, wait,
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did that.
What happened?
No, we had this. I had this fucking discussion with these guys who are, and here's the crazy part is, as of all the evidence that I am aware of, I'm pretty squarely on the side of this shooting is unjustified, right? But I hear these guys talking about it, and I try to ignore them most of the time. I'm in lunch, I got my headphones on listening to something, and then I can hear them talking about it. I'm like, don't join in, don't join in, don't join in. And then I hear this fucking idiot that's sitting next to me go, yeah, and I mean, it's a police state now. Like my dad, Fox News dad, Rush Limbaugh dad, he's always telling me that it's it would be the Democrats that did this. And I ripped my headphones off. Like, the Democrats did this. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but 4 or 5 years ago, actually, this exact guy, Tim Walz, ordered his fucking National Guard to walk down the streets.
Bullhorns.
Yeah, bullhorns, keeping people inside, shooting a lady with a pepper ball who is standing on her own porch. It's her property that she owns, filming them. They shot her, get inside or you're going to die of COVID. You're killing people. And I'm like, and these guys, by the way, which I would say, if you tell me it's not comparable in rebuttal, I would say, yes, you're right. That was infinitely less justified because she was standing on her own property. These people are like, this one, not quite as much, but these people are blocking cars. If somebody blocks an intersection, like if I just pulled in perpendicular to a 2-lane road, blocking off traffic intentionally, and a cop came up to me, and I'm not even trying to obstruct like law enforcement. I'm just fucking up traffic. A cop would come to me and tell me, get the fuck out of here. And if I said no, like over and over, he would be completely justified in using low-level force against me. And if I tried to run him down with my car or pulled out a gun, he would be totally justified in shooting me. Because
these are I couldn't tell from this footage, but the whole entire time I'm like, what's this white car she's standing in front of? Is it moving or trying to go? Just minutes or seconds before, he was over there directing traffic at the scene of them making a thing, and he has no right or business to be directing traffic or stopping traffic or doing any sort of thing like that.
No,
I don't know why the cop felt he needed to push her, but to me it seemed like she was obstructing this car from going. But then he walks up and shoves her, and then he jumps in to do it. And almost everybody who starts arguing for it goes, well, he was mad that the cop did that. I'm like, but yeah, you don't get to jump in. Like when a cop is like, or a federal person is doing that, you don't get to jump in. And there's a lot of stuff about, like, especially if you're concealed carry, at that moment, you're supposed to be declaring like you've got a concealed carry, and you have put yourself in a situation that at that moment, delegitimizes your legality to it because you are agitating a police officer.
That's another hatchling thing. Is that like, well, he was legally carrying a gun, where it's like, okay, the moment that you start committing crimes, your gun becomes illegal.
The second he started touching and grabbing, just helping the girl, you're pushing an officer out of the way to help a girl. People show that in slow motion, that he pushes the officer out of the way to start helping her. Like, that second is actually a felony. And you've also rescinded your rights to legal carry. And that might have been the stuff, because I don't know if like the government's messaging, which is total horse crap on it, but
they suck.
At that moment, if they said at that moment he gave up his right to have a concealed carry gun, that is true. But
ironically,
it's not true that he can't,
according to Nate,
he can't bring it to a,
like, if that cop pushing that lady, like, if he had no reasonable or probable cause or whatever it is he needs to effect an arrest, then everything they did was legal. Not the cops, but dead guy and lady.
Part of the problem is too, these guys haven't been arresting him. Like, just even think about the footage that came out today of him agitating and kicking that stuff with the car, and he got tackled like a week ago.
Yeah,
you don't know if that's when he broke his rib, but they just let him go. They just let all these guys go. They're not actually arresting them. They're just pushing and shoving them off, because it should be police forces that are doing this. But the police have been given stand down orders. So even if they called the police to come rile these guys in, they wouldn't go.
If that cop ends up going to prison for unlawful use of force, you know, even if this turns out to be the worst fucking possible way for the ICE in the situation, it is still the fault of Democrats pushing this insurrection. And and because, you know, the other things like Lawyer points out, is like, blowing the whistles and screaming at cops is not illegal. That's the First Amendment. Yeah, but it sure as hell ain't helpful. And like, it's
not helpful, but there's also a lot of illegal stuff they're doing. They're throwing shit at the cops there. And I kind of pointed out, because it was wild watching that video of like the Minnesota like anti-riot team or whatever coming in there and just immediately arresting everyone. And the first thing I noticed about that is like, well, there was a lot of them. So the protesters immediately kind of give up. and the guys with cameras are, oh, press, you know. But like ICE, when you watch ICE operate or Border Patrol, because this was Border Patrol, it's like 3 or 4 guys. Because ironically enough, what would have saved this guy's life is if they had arrested him a few days earlier when he did commit a felony for sure.
And one of the things, one of Crowder's points is that was 11 days earlier and he was doing that. And he says, what are the odds that he was just out there every single day doing this and he was well known to these guys and they were sick of him?
Well, yeah, see, that's the other thing is that like that's the thing that like because Nate the lawyer is going entirely off of what's on video. I'm like, things could have happened before. They could have remembered this guy. They could have been like, hey, if you see this guy, arrest him for what he did last week. You know, there's a lot of possibilities there. But,
anyway,
you know, that's like no matter what, like, because obviously in hindsight, it was a bad shoot.
Yeah, well, I made this joke to you guys. I sent it to you, and it was just like my face looking up close to the computer. If you're not watching, listening, and I was like, "Is it, babe? What are you doing?" I'm scrolling Twitter. Why are you so close to the screen? I'm studying angles of a person who was shot. What else would I do on Twitter? He said, "Well, politics." I'm like, "That's what I said." I've spent so many times since Charlie Kirk's, probably even some other things, of just reviewing shoots and reviewing kills and reviewing murders from all the different angles that I could possibly see. And I've seen every possible angle of this. People put out different versions of stabilized camera work and all that sorts of stuff. From my view of it, and I could pull it up, but I don't know if I want to like show the moment of shooting on here. But the police officer who shoots him was in an area where it could have been visible for him to see that guy grab the gun, but you don't know if he saw it or not. They started calling out gun, but it's in the middle of tons of whistles and tons of horn honking and tons of noise that is designed. They put out, they got a hold, Cam Higbee got a hold of all the signal chats that these guys were using to follow around these officers with, and they also got a hold of their training manuals. And in all their training manuals, it says the purpose of those whistles and those things are to create chaos and make them lose their mind and not know what's going on.
Yeah.
In that exact moment, what if the officer who grabbed the gun says, "I got the gun," and he hears gun, you know, or something like that, because there's so much stuff going off. But what everybody's wondering now is because the first bullet, the first shot, nobody can quite tell where that comes from. And it does not look like it's coming from the guy who killed him. Well, he doesn't hit, he doesn't move, he doesn't make any reaction.
Another thing that we have to AJW video of it?
The what?
The actual Justice Warrior video of it? I think that was the video I saw because he shows the exact frame where it where that first gunshot goes off. And it was you can see in frame the ICE agent that took the guy's gun away is holding it in his hand, and you can see the slide go back.
So you're talking about the accidental shoot from
the
officers, and I believe that that's what happened too.
I'm pretty convinced that's what happened because you can I don't know, one of my lefty buddies was like, actually this guy analyzed the different angles of the sound, and I was like, hey, it's a cell phone video, you fucking dipshit, what are you talking about? But watching this, you see the exact frame, you hear the sound, the stabilized
version, you see it hit the ground, you see kind of like a flash past his pants. And I think that's what happened. Plus that gun is very, very famous and well known for accidental discharge. And I think between people yelling and all the noise and chaos, and you hear gun, if you saw it or not, you don't know if a guy's got a second gun, who knows? But I just don't know how, in the end of all things, just if that officer who did the shooting frames it that way, that I heard the gun go off and people were screaming gun, and I didn't see that in that second, and his hand was back there where it would be holstered right at that moment, so I started shooting. I do not see how that officer doesn't have a defense in the end of all things of saying, like, that's fine. And after I watched it all and saw it all stabilized, I told you guys, if you could guarantee a fair jury, you know, which that's a huge if. I don't think that if is possible, but if you could do that, I'd be fine with this going to a jury and them all deciding off of that. He has to prove it was good or right or well done. He just has to prove it was reasonable to assume they were in danger. And they got all the noise, all the chaos, all the gun stuff. A gunshot goes off, people are screaming gun, so he shoots. I don't know how that guy, if he doesn't have an ideological jury, just doesn't get off. Not saying that any of this was marvelous.
Well, I would say
that's another thing that we have to explain to the aliens that just came down to planet Earth. It is possible for a human to have 2 guns on their person. That's another thing that can happen on planet Earth. It's possible for someone to be reaching in their pocket for the other gun they brought.
Well, so even when I say that this shooting was probably unjustified, honestly, the 2 officers that shot the guy, I would clear them of any wrongdoing.
Yeah,
because
well,
I completely believe that
that's what Nate the lawyer was basically saying.
Yeah.
His thing is that the guy who initiated is fucked. Everybody else probably has.
Police should have been able to be called to be there on the scene because we saw that they finally did release some riot defense police, and they're way better at this stuff than the ICE agents are.
So the riot defense police. That's what I was saying. The numbers are so much greater of them than the ICE guys. The ICE guys, there's like 3 or 4 of them at a time at most. And so you look at the video of him kicking the shit out of the cop car as it goes away. They probably would have arrested them if they were not so vastly outnumbered. And by the way, trying to not arrest him is actually saving lives of the fucking protesters. Because if they pushed harder to arrest them, more protesters would have charged them, and it would have gotten violent, and they would have ended up killing a lot of people to defend themselves.
Well, that's one of the many gaslighting things here. It's like ICE is not properly trained in this stuff. Like, well, yeah, but you told the police to stay the fuck home and stay out of it.
Well, sure, but also Chris pointed out, he brought up a good point, because this wasn't even ICE specifically; it was CBP or CBP.
And they also know and have released that the 2 officers who are mainly being looked at, the 2 officers that are on administrative duty, have 8 and 10 years of experience between them.
Well, not only that, but like ICE, I guess what was it that you showed us? They shortened their training cycle to like 49 days or something like that. But CPB still has a training cycle of like 5 to 6 months.
Yeah. So it was a totally different crew.
Yeah.
But yeah,
plus, I mean, we talk about all the chaos, but then there's all the chaos past, right?
Yeah.
There's all the chaos these guys have underwent. You can watch like 10, 20-minute compilations of like 3-second clips of people just absolutely abusing these guys that are trying to round up illegal immigrants. The best thing they throw at them is snowballs. They'll throw frozen water bottle. I mean, they tried to throw a frozen water bottle at James O'Keefe. They threatened him with death. Everybody, when James O'Keefe showed that text that he got, they're like, yeah, it's fake. He just staged it. But then the moment he gets to Minnesota, he gets charged by a fucking I don't know, organized. They don't call themselves Antifa, but essentially Antifa. So there's all this shit. There's all this tension that's been built up, which, by the way, has not been built up anywhere else. Minnesota is not the only place where Trump has deployed border patrol.
Well, there's this concept.
5.2 million, 0. I want to read you the list of deportations by president. Clinton, 12.5 million, 0 protests. Bush, 10 million, 0 protests. Obama, 5.2 million, 0 protests. Joe Biden, Mr. Open Borders, he let in hundreds of thousands, if not millions, but he deported 7 million.
20 million by some count.
Oh my God, but he deported 7, whatever. It doesn't count because he undid that. And then Trump, 1.2 million. And where were the cameras?
Well, this has to do with media, obviously. The media isn't as focused on the other deportations from other presidents, so
they praised them. I want to read you.
You see all the stuff like Hillary Clinton talking in 2012 and Obama talking in 2008 about, and they sound more right wing than Trump right now. The stuff they say.
There's that clip of Obama being heckled by a guy. Stop the deportations. And he says something about like, I have the authority. Like, oh, so you're literally Hitler fascist. You're a president declaring that you have authority.
We got fucking people calling for Nuremberg trials. Like,
what? Yeah.
Yeah, no, like they'll totally root for botched hangings if they get their chance.
Oh, this guy.
Which literally was built as a concentration camp, and Alligator Alcatraz.
Literally.
I think we can all agree it's a concentration camp. Not saying they're Dachau. I'm not saying they're putting people in ovens yet. But these are
Yeah, I mean, they're all calling for...
It's a concentration camp. Not saying they're a concentration camp, but
you shared this thing, Kyle Rittenhouse, because people keep bringing up his name and all that sorts of stuff, and what he said about it.
Kyle Rittenhouse was cleaning up graffiti and standing as an armed guard outside of a car dealership, and he was attacked Like, I don't understand this whole fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm vindicated on Anna Kasparian.
Why?
I'm vindicated because everybody was like, "Oh, she's going through her redemption arc," and I was like, "No, she was so irresponsibly retarded during the Kyle Rittenhouse shit that like she thought well into the trial that he shot black people. Like that's how stupid and uninvestigative she was. And now she's like she had argued a little bit against Cenk about, well, I wouldn't call Trump a fascist. He's an authoritarian. I wouldn't call him a fascist or a Nazi. Now she's like, oh, he's definitely a fascist now. He's got literally brown shirts stomping around. And by the way, explain this to me. Everybody keeps telling me that ICE, like, they're masked and they don't wear uniforms. But, like, every video with ICE that I've seen, they're wearing police identifying uniform. What?
Yeah.
Am I just not seeing them?
I don't know. But, yeah. Troy asked if that was Deanna Troi, and I thought it looked like her, too. Did you guys think it was?
I don't even know who that is.
From Star
Marina
Trek.
Sirtis?
I've never watched any Star Trek.
Did I lose the... well, look, she's at the end of the video.
He's at that...
Is this Deanna Troi right here?
Well, this has to do with media, obviously. The media isn't as focused on presentations from other.
It looks so familiar.
Because for one thing, she has an English accent because she's English.
Oh, okay. Boo!
She's Anglo-Greek, Anglo-Greco.
You can believe all these things at the same time. ICE messed up. Pretti should have stayed home. You shouldn't impede law enforcement. You can carry out a protest. ICE should continue deporting illegals. Communists are creating chaos to push their agenda. Yeah, the messaging from the Trump administration, or just like what's her name, Dana Lash, or no, what's her name, Kristi Noem, and Kash Patel, just immediately coming out saying like you can't have a gun at a protest, and he came there with the intent to kill and murder police officers. You're like, shut up! Like you guys are making it worse. You're making everything worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that fucking.
That's something else that can totally be true at the same time. Is that the messaging from the administration has been completely stupid and unhelpful.
Oh yeah, I will readily admit that Kristi Noem and Bovino were so boneheaded. Trump was so boneheaded in how they came out against this. I think we talked about it last week. It's so easy to just be like, Tom Homan did it perfectly. Tom Homan nailed it. He was.
I wonder if that's why they bring him in, because part of me wonders if
because
the reason Bovino wasn't moved out is because those other people acted on what Bovino said, not from seeing anything, and so then they said something stupid.
Maybe.
And so then they were mad at Bovino for making them say something stupid.
Because Tom Homan was asked about it right away, and he said, "Well, there has to be an investigation, and we'll see all the details, and we'll see what happened, and we'll make a judgment." That's so fucking easy to say. But also. Fuck. One of the lefty guys at work was talking about Trump's response. Yeah, they're just lying about this. And I'm like, yeah, they are. They totally are. And he's like, yeah, they used to not do this. And I was like, okay, was Derek Chauvin racist? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. You agree with Biden 4 seconds after he saw the video. And all Democratic politicians. What evidence do you have to support that he was racist? Because Kristi Noem has zero fucking evidence to support that this guy came here to massacre cops. She has one piece of evidence, and that piece of evidence is that he was concealed carrying a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and had 2 extra magazines that were full and had a capacity of 15 bullets each. Okay, how many extra mags do you think Kevin carries on him at all times? This is pretty fucking normal for a concealed carry guy.
Here's Michael Shermer showing the other angle, and Risto was asking, I think there might be something to this, that was this guy in this all along to try to create a situation? Well, we know that they're all trying to create edge situations that cause chaos and problems. That's part of the deal of the writing and the agitprop. But was this guy like on a level of kind of trying to do suicide by cop? This is him.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Every decision you made in your life is fucking wrong. Look at you. Pepper spray, bitch. Fucking something, motherfucker.
You're fucking assault me, mother.
It's just pretty funny.
And of course,
is this audio from a different angle? Because it's insane to me.
it's from a different angle. Yeah.
No. The
other one.
video-
Yeah, they have the angle from behind too.
So no, but what I'm saying is the audio from the angle behind, but the video from this angle. Like, are they melting them together or something? Because it's pretty wild to me that I can clearly hear every word that he says over car alarms, screaming people, whistles, and just everything that's happening, all the commotion.
One of the things that drives me nuts about this whole thing is they're talking about like peaceful protesting and what you can do in the police state and all that sorts of stuff. Have you seen how much any sort of First Amendment reporter from the other side at all gets assaulted and gets beat up and gets their car trashed and gets, because they're all for First Amendment, right? But if James O'Keefe goes there, he gets surrounded, he gets his car trashed.
And you know, gets brain damage.
Yeah, and there's just a ton of different footage now. Oh yeah, you're all for the First Amendment. That you really are.
The closest I've seen has been Don Lemon. Like the closest I can remember of a lefty getting assaulted for words is Don Lemon, and it wasn't assaulted and it wasn't words. It was busting in to private property, shrieking at people, and then when asked to leave, not leaving. And it, instead of assaulted, it was maybe being arrested.
So here's the other angle. Hold on.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure.
So
I saw somebody post a thing about, like, you know, how could a nurse be a terrorist? And I almost linked the Wikipedia to Baruch Goldstein. Like, well, this guy's a doctor and he murdered a bunch of Muslims with grenades. So was he a terrorist?
So you got your Josh Mangelson there flipping out about it, posting the AI image of it. Have you guys looked at the AI image?
I've looked at the AI image, and it looks very AI because the guard in the front is missing his head. What everybody's saying is that it is AI enhanced. So it's about as reliable as on those old TV shows where they're like, zoom in, enhance, and
It's enhanced. No, it's exactly, it's the digital equivalent of AOC, where it's more important to be morally correct than factually correct.
Oh fuck, we're on the right side of history even when we lie.
Yeah, because you're only telling the good lies. You don't tell the bad lies, which is the truth.
Watching for the past couple of weeks, I've seen so many Andy. This happened during the Summer of Love too. Like, I was watching Andy No's channel every night, and every night there was fire bombings and trashings of courthouses and beating ups in streets and trashing cars. And every single night that's going on again here. And you see stuff like the police officers stay in a hotel and they trash that hotel. They trash all the cars at the hotel, not even know if it's them. They're stopping just any sort of person who looks clean cut on the street and asking them if they're ICE agents.
They're stopping people who are in nice SUVs. You should rent a different car, sir, because you look like you could be ICE.
Yeah, they're asking for papers, please, to everybody and chasing and kicking them out and beating them up if they don't do it.
Well, I remember watching that scene from maybe like 4 days ago, where there's the guy. I think I sent it to the group. There's the press guy, press, and the clip opens on an ICE officer standing in front of the hotel firing a non-lethal round into the group. It's like, you just fired a non-lethal round. Why did you do that? Why did you do? And this idiot accidentally pans to the lobby of the hotel that is just wrecked.
Yeah.
Just totally ransacked. And you're like, okay, what was that? The ICE agents? Did they just go ham on this hotel lobby like a fucking Rolling Stones party in the 60s? Or maybe did these rioters come in there and they chased them out?
Yeah, I mean, it's also wild, and who knows the way that the local government, supposedly Tucker Carlson said that he had inside info on what the agreement that Trump made with Tim Walz was, and it was 4 things. It was that they would help, police would come if they called to help with like a scene where they were apprehending somebody. 2, police would come if they were being attacked off duty. So like at the hospital and all that sort of stuff, they called them. And they had a stand down order until they made that supposed deal, you know. And why it wouldn't be some sort of constitutional crisis, as Brett Weinstein called it, because you have the local government standing in defiance of the federal government, doing their lawful duty there. And how that isn't just the way they're clashing right there between the federal and the, you know, it's, people keep saying that's insurgency. You should call the Insurgency Act for it.
Tim
Trump's
Walz
holding up on that.
said that Minnesota was at war with the federal government.
He said that they were going to have an Anne Frank moment because
I just mean, like, Tim Walz is the first American governor to declare war on the federal government.
He said this could be the Fort Sumter. This could be the Fort
Civil
Sumter.
War. Oh, I was going to say, oh, there you go. Yeah. Like, but like, this is the closest we've been to civil war. And it was the former vice presidential candidate doing it. Like, go figure.
Oh, this guy.
The thing
Holy fuck.
is, I don't know if everybody's watching, but what I was going to ask is, like, during the Summer of Love, I found out only after it that nobody who was a normie, my parents or anybody, saw an ounce of any of what the psychotic left are doing. Not an ounce of it. They thought the Summer of Love was they didn't even think the fiery were mostly peaceful. They thought it was mostly peaceful. And I'm wondering again, I haven't even stopped to ask my parents because I kind of don't want to talk about it in real life, but like, are you seeing any of this? Do you see what's going on there? And I don't think they do.
Do they know that in Salt Lake City, Utah, a block and a half away from my home, they tipped over a cop car and lit it on fire? And a bunch of cops had to get treated at the hospital for injuries from stuff.
I'll give you one up. My younger brother was called to act on that situation. He was called to that fiery cop car, and my parents don't know about it.
That's amazing.
Okay, but here's the funny part: is that this is sort of the ultimate extension of that. It isn't happening. Step 2 is, well, it might be happening, but it's okay. Step 3, it's definitely happening and it's good, right? This might be a little bit of a black pill, but I think 5 years removed from George Floyd, mainstream media has taken such a hit that so many less people are watching it. And all of the people who were watching mainstream media back then, but are watching less mainstream media now, so they're seeing more of the actual violence, have moved on from saying, what are you talking about? That's not happening, to say it's happening and it's a good thing. And so I think it doesn't matter.
It's not happening. They're only taking video camera and they're just there peacefully.
I hope you're right.
The other thing, like,
you hope I'm right? Like that's all they know about?
I really do,
because it would make sense of why they're being stupid.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there's more people now watching non-mainstream media than there were in the Summer of Love. Now we're in the Winter of Love, and there's more people watching this kind of shit, and it feels like it's the same amount of people justifying it. And that might be a bias that it feels like it because that's all I'm seeing, and the squeaky wheel gets the fucking shitty oil.
Well, I only bring that
question I've been asking, and I've asked this question so many times, and I've never gotten an answer, specifically concerning the Salt Lake City George Floyd riot that happened a block and a half away from where I live. And I watched the armored police cars go down the street. And the question I keep asking, I'm still waiting for an answer, is what is the connection between fighting against police brutality and racial injustice and smashing up an immigrant-owned convenience store and stealing $10,000 of Doritos and beer? I'm still waiting to figure out how those things connect. Because
it connects the same way
a 7-Eleven that is owned by Punjabis, by brown Punjabis.
Listen,
and they did $10,000 of damage and stole a bunch of Doritos.
It's part of the intersection with we were on COVID lockdown at the same time there, and none of the rest of us were allowed to even meet up to have tacos together, but they were allowed to be there to destroy the building and get the tacos because the COVID was a respecter of justice.
Dude, I feel like I was so beautifully isolated in sweet Idaho Falls because I never quarantined. Like I never stayed in my house when I was supposed to. I went out and they had the stupid ass signs that were like wear a mask. I never did. I'd walk into a Walmart and it said wear a mask and social distance. And it would have the fucking arrows directing you which aisle to walk down. I ignored the fuck out of it. Nobody said anything.
I still laugh about it's just because it's like a Monty Python sketch. It's so farcical. Is that so? The COVID lockdowns are beginning, and the announcement is, non-essential workers stay home. Essential workers need to go to work. What do? I sell wine for the state of Utah. Oh, that's essential. The booze is essential. If
that was the first moment.
Ladies can't get their boxed rosé, then civilization will collapse.
That was the moment I realized. Yeah, no, that was the exact moment I realized it was a farce because I remember looking at the list of essential businesses, and I swear I'm pretty sure this is what happened. I might be wrong about it, but the first list I saw didn't include. I was looking specifically for the liquor store. I'm like, that'd be hilarious if they said the liquor store, and I was like, oh, they didn't. And then like 2 hours later, I saw an article saying there's been a revised list of essential businesses, and then the liquor store was on it. I was like, oh, I laughed. So I was like, oh, this is all fake. This is all fucking fake. You don't think these people are dying. And it's kind of the COVID thing is actually a good example of the sample size, that the loud minority, the squeaky wheel that I was talking about, because I flew into the Denver airport during the height of COVID with like 6 friends, and they all wore their masks because they were supposed to. And I had one, but I was like, no, fuck that. And I took it down. And I didn't see a single other person not wearing a mask. And I got a couple dirty looks, but not a single person approached me and said, why are you wearing your mask? Like, I think it's just it's the hostage. You're taken hostage by such a small minority of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the reasons I bring up like all the different stuff that you see is, of course, you and I and all of us, we've seen 1,000,001 of these psycho TikTokers, and I don't want to go through the million of them because you watch like, I don't know, the Progress Report with iHypocrite or anybody who covers them all. And it's infinity. It's infinite. And I had an experience with a guy at work. I told you guys about this, just driving him home. And I like him. He's a nice guy. And I didn't even want to like dispel him of it because he seemed like even more just sincerely in a cold panic, saying that he got a bunch of guns and he and his family figured out all these escape routes because stuff's about to pop off in the US and all this. They're kidnapping people on the streets and all this stuff, which is just as psychotic again as like saying that 10,000 black people were getting murdered unarmed.
10 years ago, they were making fun of preppers.
Yeah. But part of what, I mean, this guy's putting on something performative here, obviously. But what's strange about it is there really is, beyond just like all the NGOs, and there's stuff backing this. There's money backing this. There's stuff that's cynical about it. That O'Keefe did a report on the NGOs that are sending money to the people in it and asking them what they do. And they say they're part of the union and all this sorts of stuff. But there's true believers all throughout it too, which O'Keefe also mentions. Like we came across a lot of true believers, and there's 1,000,000 of them, and they've been so whipped up into something. And like Flip said originally to this, whatever we ticky-tack pick or think about this thing, it's the optics are already over on this one. I think for the normies, I think it happened. I think it's already as bad as George Floyd, and there's no one doing that. But just to watch this, I don't want to go through every single nut job that started saying nutty TikTok stuff or called for Nuremberg trials or said that guy who said he wants to legally kill Donald Trump through the processes type stuff. But
people have been asking, when's the time? After today. The song.
He's a theater kid.
It's time.
I mean,
every glance was planned out to feign sincerity. Everything he did was supposed to be theatrical.
It's not pure coincidence. This is all happening as Democrats in New York elected an actual communist to be mayor.
No,
These
and
things
it's
are
more a coincidence that it was happening right when it was blowing up that he was getting caught for all the fraud at the same time. It's not a coincidence that right then it goes down.
Oh, this was great. This tweet.
You want to read it?
Yeah, sure. This ICE situation is really complex. My take is more nuanced. I want our immigration laws to be enforced, but I just want them to do it without using any force and without anyone ever getting hurt and without anything sad or upsetting happening ever. And if the people we're trying to deport don't want to be deported, or if liberal activists don't want us to deport them, then obviously, in that case, we shouldn't do it. But I'm totally a conservative on the issue. Unless people get really mad at me, then never mind. Please don't yell, "I'm sorry."
Oh man, I won't go into that. Yeah, but I just want to say, like, there's so many people out there that believe this, so it's like kind of like a freaky situation. Like, I really do think that we are in a troubling moment for the country and all that sorts of stuff. But hold on a second here. What am I trying to find? Oh, I'm way too high.
Maybe this is every civil war, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's the 10% of the people that don't know how to deal with any amount of stress at all that are, and the rest of, like, maybe during the American Civil War, I don't know much about it, but like maybe there was a group of people that's like, we can work this out. And they're like, no, they're going to take away our slaves, or no, they're going to leave the Union.
Jimmy Kimmel cried again. All the celebrities are coming out and speaking. I saw Glenn Close get up and say that this is a Nazi organization, which I found really funny because Glenn Close played JD Vance's mom in that movie, or grandma, like his hero grandma that saved his life.
Jimmy Kimmel should be arrested just for the amount of times he cries.
I won't play his whole thing because it's a little long, but of course leftists are coming out and saying well-meaning liberals have been fooled by supporting the body cams, which should stop being used. And the reason is because there's been a complete backfire, the body cam stuff.
Yeah, that's a BLM's biggest nightmare is body cams.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I remember a bunch of police forces pushing back vehemently against body cams, and then we got them. And we're like, yeah, you guys don't seem that bad.
Yeah. So that's like, okay, because I've watched 10 jillion police incidents videos. But like the last couple of weeks on YouTube, I've been watching a whole bunch of cases where, and they're all on body cam. Thank God for body cams, of like actual unambiguous civil rights violations by police against ordinary citizens. And one thing that I've noticed is that it's overwhelmingly white people who are the victims. Because like a lot of this happens in like rural southern places, because that's where police are shittiest, it turns out. It's not in metropolitan Democrat-run cities where the police are racist or shitty. But but that's the other thing. Like, I don't know, everybody just ignores it, because like I was so happy, like, all right, body cams, we'll finally get to see what's really going on. And what we found out is that police overwhelmingly do an amazing job in difficult circumstances, and they're not murdering black people for fun.
Well, I've said this before. Like, I have been looking for. I feel like my bias is almost against the police at this point, because I want to prove to people that I don't have a bias in favor of the police. So, like, because I remember like just looking. Like Eric Garner was a good case where I was like, yeah, that guy probably went a little overboard. Eric Garner was being a little bit of a dick. He was like, hey, what the fuck you doing? Arresting me for selling cigarettes? Come on, man. And then the guy jumped in and headlocked him. And yeah, he probably shouldn't have done that. And then Breonna Taylor happened. And I was like, oh, no, this is perfect. This is where I can prove to people that I am not biased in favor of the police. I can say Breonna Taylor, completely unjustified. And then, and then it all comes out. She's got a rental car in her name with a dead body in the trunk. Yeah. She's got, like, it wasn't a no-knock raid, and the DA that said that it was knew it wasn't at the time. And then
they did knock. Like,
they did knock. Yeah, he knew.
No, like it was a no-knock. It was a no-knock warrant. that part was true, but they knocked anyway.
Yeah, they knocked anyway. Her boyfriend returned fire, and so they shot. Didn't return fire. It started shooting out the door. So they shot at him, and she got caught up in the crossfire. And so I was like, "Fuck!"
And she
I'm
wasn't in
trying.
bed. She was standing in a hallway.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to look for the thing to tell you guys I'm not biased in favor of the police, but it's the more I do that, the more I'm like, oh my god, they're actually pretty fucking stellar most of the time.
I have a bias for it, and I'll just say that just in the general sense that my brother could easily be the one out there doing that, and I know that he doesn't. He's a normie. He doesn't want to be doing it.
You know, mean like at Thanksgiving dinner, he's like, "This is the year I get to finally kill a black."
You know, he doesn't wake up and go, "Oh boy, I get to execute. If I can just play my cards right today, I can execute an ICE protester."
Find a nurse. I'm hoping to bag a nurse this year.
I got the nurse tag. Fuck yeah. Well, we had one in my hometown just a couple months ago. And the story was just, the cops came in responding to a domestic dispute. The husband picked up a knife and charged the cops, and they unfortunately had to shoot him to death. And that was the story, right? And I'm always against the official narrative, but I was like, that's probably the real story. And everybody in the comments is like, whoa, wait till we get the body cam footage. And lo and behold, like 2 weeks ago, we get the body cam footage. And it's exactly what they said happened. Dude, like, the guy's talking to the wife, asking what happened. She's saying he threatened me with a knife. He goes downstairs to talk to the guy, and they tell him, well, look, we're going to have to place you under arrest due to all this evidence. And the guy's like, okay. Runs into the kitchen, grabs a knife off the table. There's a cop like 4 feet away from him. The body cam footage is a different cop that's like 8 feet away from him. And he's trying to stab the closer cop. The further cop shoots him several times. And I was like, actually, you guys made this. You didn't make it sound like it was your fault, but you were more at fault in your version of the story than the actual body cam footage. And it was actually pretty sad. Because he shot him a bunch of times, they immediately start trying to save his life. And the boss, the sergeant or whatever, comes in, gets the guy, takes him outside. He's like, we're going to need you to come to the station for a statement. We need your firearm. And he was like, are you okay? And he's like, I think I just killed a guy. I'm pretty fucked up. Yeah. So, oof, that would be difficult to deal with.
And that's the other thing, like, with all the police shooting videos I've watched, like, there's some of them that are really sad because, like, you see the cop, like, it's a 100% justified shooting, and the cops are just complete emotional wrecks. Like, you can tell
you had to kill a guy.
They had to do that. Like, they're so, you know, which is like, again, it's the ironclad law of woke projection. Is that all these people who are like think that cops just go around wanting to kill people? Like, that's just their dark fantasies coming out. Like, they would love to kill a Nazi, you know. Nazi as in Christian conservative American law enforcement.
Yeah, it's Dachau envy.
So just to zip through some of the stuff to make the points here. I mean, everybody followed that they cracked the signal channel where all these guys were organizing and sending people around to go and mess up stuff, and it was huge. And inside of the signal thing, a bunch of Tim Walz's aides were in it. There are all sorts of people who were linked to the Democratic Party were in the Signal chat group. Then this thing here, they cracked and got a hold of their training manuals where they said, and part of the training manual said, don't bring guns. And it also said, once you start, they said, don't do that. But then they made an autonomous zone, which I assume you had to have I don't know, a passport to get in there. Do you have to have a passport to get in the autonomous zone? Is there a CBP of the autonomous zone? Is there an ICE Department of the Autonomous Zone, like their borders that they have there? It was well funded. They have all sorts of things, bringing and dropping off boxes, dropping off signs, dropping off food. And when they talked to some of the people, they had shifts, and in those signal things, they had things that showed when they were active and not active on shifts. So they made sure that they were out there in shifts and they were taking shifts. I mean, nothing organic about it. Ann Coulter comes out here. Everybody's talking about like they've arrested a bunch of people on accident. It's 170, 170 that weren't illegal aliens. 130 were arrested for interviewing or assaulting police officers on the left. 0 deported accidentally at this point. So it's like what is that? 40 people who've been accidentally arrested, and when they showed their papers, they were released. Under Obama, there was 4 accidentally deported. Have you guys seen this? I think this went under the radar.
The only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would richly reward you. You know,
that's what the whole Trump's first thing is. Supposedly he called for Russia to do stuff in one of his speeches. But anyway, I don't know if there's anything else to say on all that crap, man. Is there anything else to say? The Pam Bondi said after the whole entire thing, they wrote a strongly worded letter. And this is Pam Bondi writing a strongly worded letter.
You know what I'm gonna do about it? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tweet my displeasure. That's right. I'm gonna jump on social media and I'm gonna tweet about it until my fingers bleed.
That's where we all are. The Civil War that Tim Pool does not want, except he does want.
He just wants his prediction to be right.
Oh, we didn't get to the best part of that though. What my thing is, they gussied him up and made him look better.
Oh yeah,
they made him look more sexy. That's what I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. So I took the thumbnail. I always have to explain my names, but it's pretty good, spelled like pretty and good. But then it's Larry David, and Larry David with a gussied up picture, like they did to this guy. I was the same thing as like when they took Joe Rogan and made him like look sickly or something like that.
Oh yeah, they made him green.
They made him green. It's so ridiculous that they do that. So obviously they think looks matter.
Who was the CNN PR guy who like approved Sanjay Gupta to go on Joe Rogan's show? Like how delusional would you have to be to think that's like a winning move?
Oh, the Starbase Collab's comment from 20 minutes ago though about the people stealing all the Doritos and beer from the immigrant-run convenience store. That's the other thing I was constantly explaining to the communists that were pro George Floyd riots. I'm like, the Doritos and beer is not insured. Like they just lose money on that. They don't get to file an insurance claim. You know, like, well, what happened? A bunch of communist millennials smashed up our store and stole Doritos and beer.
He says it's reparations and they assume insurance will cover the damage. They think it's a victimless crime. That's sort of the classic thing that like everybody, all of us pointed it out the moment we saw these two conflicting terms of gentrification and white flight.
Yeah.
A bunch of, I don't know, like there's a bunch of minorities move in, whites leave, it's white flight. If whites move into an area that a bunch of non-whites are in, it's gentrification. It's heads I win, tails you lose. Always.
Even worse than that. So like if they move into the neighborhood and make it nicer, gentrification, that's white supremacy. If they leave the neighborhood because it's shitty, that's white flight. It's white supremacy. And if you're standing still, you're standing on stolen land. That's white supremacy. So coming, going, or standing still, you're doing white supremacy.
Did you ever watch Kimmy Schmidt?
What was that?
Did you ever watch Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes. Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved that.
So
Titus, I'm sad that Titus didn't get his spin-off show.
Yeah, I get that. But
I deserved at least a mini series.
So Carol Kane, her character in that, the woman that she's the liar. She's in Princess Bride, she's probably my favorite character in Kimmy Schmidt. Like one of her arcs is just like her boyfriend is like a real estate developer and he's trying to gentrify her just dog shit neighborhood she lives in. And that's her whole thing. Like she'll chain herself to a shitty tree and be like, you can't gentrify this. This is where little Danny was shot in the neck while walking home from the third grade. We have memories here. I'm surprised that didn't get more backlash. That show came out at like the height of woke, and there was some poking fun of.
Oh, they made fun of feminists hard on that.
In Snogadishu, they're calling it. Do you notice anything? Okay, it's not the tweet, it's the picture. This picture has been edited to make him look less like an ugly, dysgenic Jew. They straight up used AI and were like, can you make this guy look like less of a dysgenic Jew? And then Grok was like, I got you, fam. This is the original picture, and this is the one that was posted in the tweet. Not only did they make him look like less of an AIDS patient, they gave him a little bit of a tan. They made it look like he'd seen sunlight in the last 20 years. The shape of his head is changed. His jaw's wider. His nose is smaller. His teeth are less scuffed. Even his arms look a little bit bigger. Like, it's just like they just turned up the Chad filter just a little bit. And this edited version is being used on the news. They're using the edited version like everywhere on shitlib media. And so then people started memeing on it and making him more and more. This is actually what Alex Pretti looked like. And then you have this one. He's just like a straight up linebacker now. And then, of course, you have like the Netflix version. You know, this is when they make the Netflix movie of his life, Alex Pretti.
It skipped like my favorite line in there. He showed the original photo and said, people are saying he has the most Jewish phenotype of all time. Because when I saw this guy, I was like, Pretti, that's not a Jew last name.
I don't know, so this, but you saw like the nurse like giving advice on how to paralyze and poison ICE people. I think she's been put on an administrative leave now.
Well, so picture this.
Is it apple cider vinegar? Is that the magic?
Apple cider vinegar. You picture this. You're in 1939 Germany. You're a nurse there, and you got Heinrich Himmler as one of your patients. Is it morally correct of you to just inject him full of, I don't know, shoot air into his veins instead of his actual meth injection that he wanted? Of course,
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, if the stuff they're being told, like if Anne Frank is out there and she's going to be taken away and killed in a concentration camp, they're all heroes, right? And they're getting told by their assistant football coach leader who went to China 30 times as an assistant football coach. Somehow, how is Tim Waltz the thing? You know, it blows my mind. This thing is what is lost in all of it.
So you're reporting. We're here to arrest a child sex offender.
a Latino ICE guy.
And you guys are out here honking.
No, we're pressed.
No, we're pressed. Yeah, they're all pressed. Yeah.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who.
And they released the person that, like, it was a domestic violence abuser that they were trying to arrest when Pretti got.
You're talking to a dude whose first language is not English. He has an accent.
Yeah, he has an accent. He's a Latino.
Like, listen, I'm an American, and we need to arrest this child predator. And you're like, yeah, race traitor. Did we show it last week? The one where the lady was calling the black ICE officer a race traitor.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Where's the volume? I don't even see the volume button. Oh, there it is.
Spread all over the internet. Please spoken out about X and social media, saying that misinformation and lies are being spread all over the internet, with the CEO of the media releasing a statement saying that they are, quote, not happy to see people going over to X to get their lies when we have perfectly good lies over here. I know the lies on the internet are a new shiny thing and may look appealing, but there is no reason for people to look elsewhere when our lies are safe, consistent, grade A, socially acceptable, vetted lies.
I mean, I guess that's the whole joke, but
there's a lot of comedians that I will watch do a thing, and I'm like, man, I could have done that. You know, I could have been that funny. I could have thought of that thing. But Ryan Long's one of those ones where I'm like, I couldn't have done that.
There's the football coach, Tim Waltz there, prepping for the battle, leading them all into the Civil War. Tim Waltz, they're doing. Anyway, I don't know if we want to talk any more about. Oh, I mean, I guess we have these guys in the Mormon and ex-Mormon community straight up saying stuff like, I mean, Jonathan shared this. ICE agents are murderers, Kobe Townsend, plain and simple. How many more people have to die before they stop supporting the GOP? And there's Rick C. Bennett, what's his, I forget what his channel is. He's got some pro-Mormon channel. They need to start killing Trump voters, I think, for the GOP to change their minds. Man.
But
the people are
extreme.
extreme.
I don't know if you knew this, but John Doe does allow politics.
Well, I mean, that's Jared shared this 14 heartbreaking photos that will make you say, fuck having borders and law and shit. Ex-Mormonism. Jonathan shared this, but he took it down because David Silverman said some stuff we've brought up and covered many times before the explosion of the atheist community that David Silverman ran. And Jonathan's trying to make a point, but then David Silverman got weird at the end of the Bogosian thing and started talking about women are crazy and cycles and you should go to prostitutes instead of women.
Western women. Like you're specifically saying, don't have sex with Western women. They're dangerous.
So when did he get crazy though?
I
was waiting for you to get to the nutty part.
A point. He's definitely he's got a point in that. Like, I mean, this is a real phenomenon. Is like they even talk about like why aren't young men dating? And it's like, well, because of Me Too, because any woman can make an accusation at any time and destroy your life and career.
Well, here's the thing.
That's normal now.
So I'm like joking about that. Obviously, I don't think you should go to prostitutes instead of dating women. But like, if I were single right now,
wait a second,
prostitution would be an actual viable option in my head.
He said like, foreign women are prostitutes. I guess
if sex work is real work, and we should. To avoid white supremacy, we should make a point of going to indigenous businesses of brown women of color. So we should and also asylum-seeking immigrants. Like it's your duty as a white American male to use vulnerable immigrant brown ladies as prostitutes.
I like to daydream about the future of when they legalize prostitution and they make such a big company they need an HR guy, and I go become the HR guy for it, and I start I fire some prostitute because she's not allowed to turn down a Somali.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing that happened in Europe. You think you're joking, but that's a real thing that happened in Europe, like in Belgium where they have legalized prostitution. A situation came up where under like European human rights and like equal their version of like equal opportunity law stuff for workers, because prostitution is a job there, and they had to make a rule that like prostitutes, like they're only allowed like it's like a jury, like when you're selecting a jury, you're only allowed so many that you just get to dismiss. Like prostitutes have to have sex with men they don't want to have sex with, otherwise they can be in trouble for discrimination in Belgium.
Well,
listen to what
we're talking about this right now, and we're talking about this right now in Idaho. They're sort of trying to repeal the bake the cake laws because there's certain cities, my city included, that have passed ordinances that you have to bake the cake. Basically, Idaho Falls, conservative, fucking redneck Idaho Falls has that law. And the hilarious part is just it shouldn't blow my mind anymore because I've seen it so much over the last decade, and it's been happening longer than that. But the reality inversion, when we're saying, yeah, we're trying to repeal these laws, the bake the cake laws, making it illegal for a town to make that ordinance, and all the fucking comments are people saying, I thought this was the party of small government. Look, I understand your case in certain cases, but right now what they're trying to say is like the government can't force you to do business with somebody you don't want to do business with. That's what that's small government. That's smaller government than what we have right now. Like, if you own a cake shop, I think you should bake the wedding cake for the gay couple. And the gay people are going to think you're an asshole if you say no. But I also think you should bake the wedding cake for the Mormon couple if they want like a Moroni statue on their cake, and you say, no, that's against my religious beliefs. You should totally be allowed to do that.
This is how we fuck with them. Is like, okay, we want you to make a cake for a gay wedding. Okay. But they work for ICE. Now what?
Crowder did it years ago. I don't know if you remember. He did the thing. He went in with a guy, pretended to be gay because he's probably gay. But anyway, he pretended to be gay one of the many times. And him and his gay lover went into Muslim bakeries.
Yeah.
And asked them.
Not gonna do anything about that, are you guys?
I'm sad I'm gonna miss Julie Hanks talk, but I gotta bail and go to work in the morning.
Chris is gonna talk in another 2 hours now.
No, I'm not gonna let it happen.
We only got 50 more minutes, man. I didn't have that much about Julie Hanks unless you wanted to say it. I mean, I didn't have any clips of it, but Cardin had on Julie Hanks from Ward, and I thought it was ultimately kind of goofy. Then, I mean, I guess I have some stuff that she brought up all the kind of age-old things. She even kind of like mentioned wage gaps and labor gaps and the patriarchy and all that stuff. And if Cardin tried to challenge her on any of it with any sort of stats or statistics, which almost all of his studies and statistics were Mormon Church is actually good statistics. It wasn't any sort of statistics against. That's not the statistics against the wage gap. The statistics are Mormon women have much money, and so it's like it was almost impossible to have Cardin be the good person to talk against her. Although I guess one of the reasons that they were trying to challenge her is that her big problem is that she was steering a bunch of Mormons away from the church, but she has a framing that the world is just patriarchy, and that's just that. And she's just objectively neutral, super neutral about the objectively patriarchal world and all that sort of stuff. And she talked about labor gaps, and Cardin challenged her on any of it. She would just say, well, that's my anecdote. And I noticed John DeLynn does that a lot too. Like, well, that's just my anecdote of all the people I've talked to, which, I mean, I guess we can just take for word, although I know Jonathan's thesis was on having talked to people and putting it on paper. But that just the people I talk to have a wage gap. Just the people I talk to have a labor gap. Yeah. And I think Cardin was kind of crippled with it because first off, it's so funny because they've talked about her so much, and then he didn't know anything of her stuff to really challenge her on. It's like if we ever like got to talk or complain to the people we gripe about, like Dan Maclellan or. Oh, and you're gonna miss the part of Jonathan Streeter trolling Dan Maclellan with the measles stuff, but but the what were we just saying? Like we've looked at so much of their stuff. Like we know what you've said, you know what I mean? And Cardin was just kind of crippled because he wasn't able to bring up or mention anything. So, well, you just kind of deconvert a lot of women. It's like, no, I keep them in the church and all that sorts of stuff, and.
What's funny is like talking about the wage gap. This isn't entirely off topic because recently our management is so fucking dumb. My specific management, they're pretty good, but the management of the guys that I oversee who actually do the demolition and deconstruction are shit. And it's hilarious because they went, there's like 4 or 5 different crews out there, and they went to the supervisors of these crews and they're like, hey, we want to give out some bonuses to your people. Give us 3 or 4 names of the standout people that you think work the best and and we'll give him bonuses.
And you're like, we don't have a single black lesbian. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well,
there's no one I can say.
That's the funny part. I talked to one of the supervisors, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I gave him these 4 names." And when he said the 4 names, I was like, "Yeah, no, those are your best 4 workers for sure. Those guys are awesome. They don't have to be asked to do their job. They don't bitch, anything like that." And then like the top worker he picked came to him like 6 weeks later, and he's like, "Hey, how come these guys got like an extra $500 in their paycheck and I didn't get anything?" And he's like, "Well, if it's what I think you're talking about, you were my number 1 pick." And like all of the he didn't pick any of the women because like this isn't even a sexist thing. Most of the women that work at there's not a lot of them, but most of them are terrible. There's like 1 or 2 of them that are pretty great workers, but most of them just get away with not doing anything. And they one of the bonuses they gave to this woman, she hasn't been to work in 10 months. And part of that is because of an operation she's getting, but she just got it like 2 months ago. And it's insane. The other women that they gave it to, anyway, the point is I know what happened. I know that like the manager that decided who gets these bonuses, she's a woman. And I know she saw, well, there's the disproportionate amount of men to women. Anyway, well, first off, your workforce is like 90% men. Second, the 10% of women you got, maybe 1 out of 8 of them is a good worker. And you need to acknowledge it. Nope, they gave it to there was a equal amount of men and women who got these bonuses. And it was hilarious.
So, I mean, there's stuff like where Cardin's like also crippled just in the sense of like this stuff I'm sharing on screen right here is that they just give into the thing of like the first couple waves of feminism were great, but no, then the third wave said Mormons are bad. So that's where we jump off.
That's how I know you haven't.
Yeah.
That's not how I know you haven't read the first couple waves of feminism, because that's exactly what I said before I read any second wave feminism.
Yeah, and this guy just kind of has some clips of it. I mean, of different women. Andrew Dworkin saying, "I want to see a man beaten up to a bloody pulp with a high heel shoveled in his mouth like an apple in the mouth of a pig." That's second wave. Julie Hanks specifically defended second wave. That was just about giving women equal rights in the workforce. Firestone, the end goal of feminist revolution must be the abolition of the nuclear family. Linda Gordon, the nuclear family must be destroyed, whatever its ultimate meaning. The breakup of families now is an objective revolutionary process. And this is all while Cardin's like, he's just conceded that to her. And their argument is that she breaks up families. And because he's just like so Homer on, you can't be taking people out of Mormonism, he's just incapable of kind of like taking on her arguments, just even at face value. The more famous and powerful I get, the more power I have to hurt men, Sharon Stone. Gerhardt, the proportion of men must be reduced and maintained to approximately 10% of the human race. These people were all dead serious about this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's like the Scum Manifesto. Like, it's still an open question if that was satire or not, because like it's one of the original Poe's laws, where it's like there's nothing in it that actually runs against feminist philosophy. It's just pure evil.
The original OG first wave feminism Declaration of Seneca Falls, if you go read it, it outright demonizes men. It's not just, hey, gee willikers, us women want stuff for us too. No woman should be authorized to stay at home to raise her children. Women should not have that choice, because if there is such a choice, too many women will make that one. And Simone de Beauvoir, who is the poster child of second wave feminism, was hardcore about that. Same with Friedan, who she got into. Friedan was brought up in those that TV show Julia Childs. You remember I used to rant about because and Friedan was in there saying, Julia Childs, don't you think it's kind of bad of you to make women want to cook? And then Julia Childs in that show, I don't think in real life, in that show, oh my goodness, I am just making women want to be domestic cooking mothers. Oh, I'm part of the problem.
All right. Okay, I totally got to bail. You guys always suck me in, and it always gets me into trouble.
You only got 40 minutes to go, man.
See, you're doing it. But
No, you can go.
I told you he was gonna.
Yeah.
I feel that man-hating is an honorable and viable political fact. Robin Morgan. Mary Daly, if life is to survive on this planet, there must be a decontamination of Earth. I think this will be accomplished by an evolutionary process that will result in the drastic reduction of the population of males. Valerie Solanas, I think she's the one who shot Andy Warhol. To call a man an animal is to flatter him. He's a machine, a walking dildo. She's the one who tried to murder Andy Warhol. Anyway. And then on top of that, the thing that Cardin just concedes on, he just concedes that, yeah, women do more of the housework, but guys do good stuff too. But Bettina Arndt from 20 years of documented data that they have in Australia, housework, beat up shortages, men's labor, shows outright.
Her voice is so perfect to cover this shit.
It's 8 minutes long, so I'm not going to show it all, but like go listen to Bettina Arndt talk about housework and the divided labor and the statistics they have out of Australia. And the labor is absolutely divided. It's actually pretty darn equal. She's not saying men. She says in a lot of cases men work harder if you like include all of the away work and all that sort of stuff. The jobs, but one part of the study is that women are more likely to complain about it. And that's what the anecdote we are getting from Julie Hanks. So all the women I talk to say it's their experience. Yeah, they're going to say that, Julie Hanks.
Yeah, so I always say it's a feminist proverb to say he or she who complains the most has it the worst, right?
Yeah.
And this is an example. We talked about Adam Carolla's idea of chick think last week. And we talked about several versions. I don't think I talked about this one, but like one of them is, and I've seen it a lot on Reddit talking about so talking about the division of labor. Anytime the woman brings it up, it's always like, okay, so here's what I do. I rinse the dishes, I wash the dishes, or scrub the dishes, I put the dishes in the dishwasher, I start the dishwasher, I clean, I wipe off the counter, I sweep the floor, I mop the floor, I put all of the clutter away in the kitchen. Okay, so you clean the kitchen. Cool. you clean the kitchen.
Well,
you could have said that in one thing.
And
then I go to the living room. I pick up the clutter from the living room. I vacuum the living room.
You're absolutely right on the data of it that they found out.
I know. I've said this for years that this is a method of chick think. And then the response to that is she's like, and all he does, he goes to work, and then he comes home and he watches the kids, and then he might cook something. So he does 3 things, and I do, what did I say? 14 things. He does 3 things, I do 14 things. It's not fair.
That's absolutely part of the data that Bettina Arndt brings up, is that they stuff that they do at the same time or dual time, they double time count it, and that makes up for that accounts for a huge part of why they claim that their household labor is higher. You're 100% right about it. This doesn't. I thought this had a. There it is. Transcript. Just today, Brett and Heather Weinstein. If you look at the, I guess I don't have clips, but it ties into it. But they talked about for almost an hour the sex differences in empathy in Minnesota, and the feminization of civilization and the role of empathy and justice, and how that's an evolutionary concern. But they definitely say that men are way, way, way less likely to empathize with somebody who is a criminal, and women are way, way, way more likely, just across the board, to empathize to somebody who is even a bad person or a criminal. And that just at the societal level, if that takes over your society, it can start changing everything. But one of the things Cardin asked Julie Hanks, which was a good question by Cardin, and she didn't answer it very well, was the Jordan Peterson question. He even brought up Jordan Peterson, is you guys can tell us toxic masculinity, where masculinity goes toxic. Like violence, right? You can say it. We can all like point at it. But where is the moment that femininity goes toxic? Can you point to that moment? Can you describe it to me? And she just punted, you know, or even like said one of those things that sounds like a burn, but it's like, yeah, we can be toxic by buying into patriarchy, or we can be toxic by letting the men run over us, type of stuff. And it's just
we can be toxic by not fucking hating men.
You have done zero reflection in what could be the problems of your worldview that you go teaching people is just neutral in your therapy sessions. But Heather she has like a long article and other stuff on that. But of course she goes into toxic femininity on this a little bit here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it just by looking up the word toxic.
Toxic.
You know, we need the toxic masculine to go away, and we need. I'm forgetting, like there's a framing, there's a number of stock phrases that people used to use, and I can't remember any of them right now. But I've heard them actually as recently as I want to say 2018, when I was giving a talk at a conference that I thought would have been, you know, awake to this stuff. And some guy, you know, aging hippie guy stood up and said, you know, we really need fewer men in power and more women. And I shocked him by saying, no, we do not. Like, absolutely, we do not. What we need is to encourage the good forms of both, to recognize that we're talking about populations, that we're talking about averages and proclivities, and that there are, you know, masculine acting women and feminine acting men, and those aren't inherently bad things. But the toxic forms of both are, in fact, toxic. They are, you know, accurately named. Toxic masculinity is easier to get rid of, though, because it tends to go physical and public and overt and obvious, and we have laws against it. And the toxic feminine is covert and cryptic and socially manipulative, and everyone can adopt toxic femininity, men and women alike, and there are no laws against it, and it's taking over. And frankly, the response to that is good, strong women, but also especially good, strong men who are empowered, who know that they are empowered to say, no, not that, not now. This is not the time for empathy, just like the authors of this paper actually end their paper with by saying, you know, maybe this suggests that in places of things like, you know, law enforcement and justice, men are the better people to be doing it. And I'm sorry if I butchered what their message was. What they say is these findings could indicate a predominant role for males in the maintenance of justice and punishment of norm violation in human societies.
Yep. Well, I feel pretty good that we've
the punishment of norm violations. What we're trying to do is subvert norms, Heather. I get so tired of like women's internalized misogyny coming out. That's what's happening here. Heather's a victim of internalized misogyny. Always has been.
Yeah, as she said that. Julie Hanks said that. Yeah, women can get toxic because we can internalize the misogyny. And it's like, you are just so blind. Your neutrality is a hard bent to a worldview that is low resolution. And I think Cardin didn't do a great job at pulling that. I don't think they can do it a great job if their entire aim is to say, stop punching on Mormonism. It's fine if you go punch on everything else, like all the evangelicals and stuff. You can say that about them. They're toxic and Christian nationalism and all that stuff. But don't say it about Mormons. Don't tell women to deconvert from Mormonism. But yeah, so they're crippled with that. Anyway, that was that whole entire thing. But I mean, I guess kudos on her for daring to go in and talk. I just wish Cardin had done better at it.
I wish Jacob had been in there.
Jacob sent a few super chats, but of course the super chats were just along the lines of trying to capture her in saying anti-Mormon stuff and publishing anti-Mormon stuff on social media more than, you know, just what her worldview is and challenging it. Cardin did a little bit of challenging her worldview. Like I said, tell me what toxic femininity is, and her answer was ridiculous. John Lynn tried to tell everybody to stop.
That was the first. That was like one of the first Jordan Peterson things after the whole trans shit blew up. Him asking people constantly, like, where can the left become extreme?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, where can the right become extreme? And he'd
He
immediately
can't answer it.
he would immediately answer them where the right wing can become extreme. I mean, now answer me, where can the left wing become extreme? And it's no, actually what left wing is not extreme. Like that's the definition of it. That's like me asking my friend when he's challenging me on the gender shit, okay, well, can you tell me what gender is? It'll be a social construct. Like that's not a definition, that's a category. Tell me what what's the definition? I'm like, I told you it's a social construct.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? Sex. Okay, that's what I think it is. I have an answer.
Well, it's also like one of the universal claims of like what might separate the difference between left and right is being able to have borders and cut things off. So you ask people on the right, like, what's too far right? And almost every one of them, no matter where they are on the spectrum, they will all say that there's a cutoff line. You know, I don't care how right people are, they'll say there's a cutoff line right of them, you know, and but then their cutoff line will be a hard cutoff line. They'll put a wall around it, whereas the left just like leaves it all open to everything. And then I remember Quaker going on Ward and saying the exact diametric opposite of that. Like Quaker, the only people the left cuts off are people who aren't fully extreme with them. That's the cutting off that happened to the left. John DeLynn tried to tamp down some of the politics and got pushed back. All the people are saying, don't you know you're part of the world? Can't we do the politics on your show and all that sort of stuff? I actually appreciate the in this time, DeLynn's trying to keep it all out of there. If you can't understand the spirit of what I'm trying to communicate here with respect, this community may not be the place for you, he's telling them. And then these people are just saying, religion is political. Respect for that comment. And then, of course, he gets piled on. And we've Risto asked us earlier if we thought John DeLynn was being sincere. And I think both you and I kind of said, well, you think he's kind of leaning that way of trying to?
Yeah, I said I am more convinced of that now than I have been in the last decade. That was my answer, and like I said, I stand by the answer because like one of my criticisms of him in the past would have been audience capture, and what he's doing now, he's said several things that he knew full well, unless he's a complete retard, he knew full well would piss off his audience. Well, and he prefaced it by saying this is going to piss off my audience, but I actually have an affinity to Joseph Smith now. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I have him right here. Jonathan shared him earlier. I can't find him.
Yup.
Anyway, all that stuff was just going on. Then, of course, I was going to ask Flip because Flip got into it with Bill Gephardt. And if you don't know, Bill Gephardt was giving him the same lines that Dan Maclellan was giving him. But Gephardt is a famous newscaster here in Salt Lake. And
oh, really?
Yeah, that's why we were mentioning and talking about that. And Flip got into it with him, and he said he had all the facts and data correct. And Flip was like, no, you don't. And there's Dan saying the data demonstrate the responsibility. And one of the things that's funny, and we pointed up here, is the way that Dan Maclellan can be the seer and the gatekeeper of all is because he is a linguist. Like this person says down here, I know you said in a video yesterday that some might consider the situation outside of your wheelhouse, but the reality is your channel is dedicated to revealing truth that has been subverted by people in power. That is worthy gold, regardless of whether the events happened thousands of years ago or just hours ago. You know, kind of joke around that his
testimony meeting.
His linguist abilities make him the all-seer and the all-knower of what happened and what the data say. The data demonstrate. And well, I mean, I guess we can get into the stuff now because he put out this tweet here showing that measles shot up and it's RFK's fault since 2026 and 2025. How does he say it up there? They were literally all told us this precisely what happened. They just brayed, nuh-uh. Now we have an outbreak at the high school right next to me in my kid's middle school, and this is what happens when you elect a rapist that can barely read and lies about literally everything.
What if it's like a rapist who has like a scientific background? Like, what if it's a rapist who worked in virology for like 40 years and developed a bunch of vaccines? Is there any amount of forgiveness there for him being a rapist?
Dan's such a spaz, man. The fact that people think that he's like some sort of whiz or a brain on this sort of stuff. He's like an ultimate midwit. So Jonathan looked it up.
Did I tell you about my lefty buddy at work talking about biblical stuff? And it's like I felt it coming. It was a premonition. He's like, oh no, I listen to this guy. I think you'd really like him, Dan Maclellan. I was like, I'm usually really nice to people. I'm usually like, oh, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but no, I was like, I hate that fucking idiot. I hate that idiot. He is so pompous and full of himself. He's like, why is that? And I was like, well, first off, he needs to just admit that he's an atheist and not a Mormon. And this is a lefty atheist I'm talking to. So at that point was really salient with him. He's like, oh yeah, he's definitely an atheist. Like, yeah, you think that because he's smart and agrees with you.
Yeah. Jonathan pulled up the numbers, and there's the U.S. They're up at the top of how much measles has actually gone up in the U.S. And it's up like 0.55%. And then he noticed that it's up way higher in the United Kingdom, up way higher in France, way higher in the Netherlands, way, way, way higher in Canada and Romania. And so Jonathan pulled some of the numbers and showed some of the graphs and all the different countries. And there's Canada shooting way up there, and the U.S. is way down there. A bunch of different ways you can like look at how it is. And even still, in all these places, it's vanishingly low. And the rates of measles vaccines has hardly changed. It's hardly changed anywhere. That one, it wasn't even like changed in the messaging and stuff, the way he tries to believe. But Jonathan gives him this, thanks for the data, Dan. You are spot on. You can even compare it to other countries and see how the surge correlates with the lies and distortions, and shares the thing with him there. And of course, I'm going to see if I can find it here. He made this interactive map, which I'm sure Dan Maclellan clicked on and stopped and pondered, because he's such a ponderer of data. He just does data, and he just ponders data is what he does all day.
It's you can tell he didn't read it. Well, okay, I'm going to say he didn't read it. And how do you think I can tell he didn't read it?
How?
Because Jonathan isn't blocked.
Yeah, he'd be blocked if he did read it, and it would be X'd and disappeared. None of us could go look at that thing. We had to see it from Jonathan because we're all blocked from Dan Superbrain Maclellan.
He said, thanks, Dan. You're spot on. And that's all he read. He's like, yeah, this guy gets it.
So he made this measles vaccination incidents and vaccination dashboard. And look, you can click off the countries and all that sort of stuff. You click off the United States, and there's the little blue line down there at the bottom that just barely zings up. And there's Canada's. Oh, my goodness. Let's get it all the way down to just Canada. I mean, this shouldn't be hard data.
I looked at,
is this too hard of data for data?
I looked at all those graphs, and I was like, oh, I can't fucking wait for my brother-in-law to bring up measles outbreaks again.
There's just Canada. Well, there's the Philippines without Canada. There's Mexico. Japan stayed flatline, so I guess Japan's winning. I wonder if
well, they kill themselves for like any fucking reason at all. So, like, oh, I have a measles. I'm a seppuku.
Literally every single country is higher than the United States. Dan Maclellan.
Except Germany. Germany was
except
lower.
for Germany and Japan.
Good job, Germany. You must not have an RFK like the rest of Canada must have like 18 RFKs or 12 RFKs because they're about 12 times higher than us proportionally.
I was going to say this earlier, but I guess I won't get into it. But the Black Panther Party told the current BLM people who use the Black Panther signals to stop using their stupid name and stop calling yourself Black Panthers because we're not into this fucking with ICE stuff. It's really funny. What the heck?
What's the heck?
Oh, I got weird old clips on there that I didn't even realize were in there. The Thrive concert coming up.
Oh, Christ.
You pointed out that I want to get the transcript of this. I want to hear it. That Dr. Greg Prince is there talking about the queer all-seeing eye that sees the church. Can't wait for that one.
Well, that just seems so on the nose. It's like Klaus Schwab level evil villain.
So then Jonathan brought up this argument about, a lot of the stuff we talk about here is how religion seems to be
Evolutionary.
Evolutionary, positive. Like what's the term we generally use for that?
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic, or no, in the words of evolutionary. Oh, it's escaping me. It's
optimal.
Optimal. Yeah, that's close to what I'm thinking. And that's just that's just a argument from consequences, which I think is kind of funny, because like if everything is
all these people are
Darwinism,
hardline consequentialists.
yeah, if everything just is Darwinism and is thriving and growing and surviving, like the consequences is all that really matters.
If you are truly as atheist as you say you are, consequentialism is the only moral structure you have to go off of, which is ironic because none of these people go off of it entirely. Most of them, in fact, go full down to logical, and like just that, like, our country should burn if
adaptive. That's the word, Troy. Thanks.
There we go, Troy.
Adaptive. Do you want to read what Jonathan wrote right there?
Sure. Compared to the world outside of Mormonism, most of the young men and women who stayed in the church from the era my kids were at are now college grads, married with children, and replicating the world of their upbringing. You know what? He's right, because I'm about his kid's age. I think his son is a couple years younger than me, but yeah, I'm pretty much his kid's age. And I stayed in the church. I mean, I think I got out at just, if you're going to get out of Mormonism, I think I got out at the perfect time, because I wasn't so young that I got to have a slut phase. I was already like married and sort of like pushed into this thing. But I wasn't so old that like I had built my entire adult identity on Mormonism. So I think I got really lucky. If you're going to leave Mormonism, leave it when you're 22. It's probably the best time to leave it. But anyway, most of the kids for many of us who have left the church are trying to figure out who they are. Yeah, the identity thing. Avoiding anything that causes anxiety, spending time virtue signaling about injustices that aren't directly tied to their own productive life, and feeling morally superior from that, while also struggling to find an identity that gives them long-standing meaning and purpose. For all of its faults, the structure and order of the church is capable of replicating itself from generation to generation, while the unstructured and, to a great extent, nihilistic world outside of it has a difficult time doing so. The ability of these Mormons that carry on the torch to also contribute to a functional, stable, wider society is evident. Us ex-Mormons are counterculture in a similar way the hippies were counterculture. We abandoned and condemned the square, oppressive institutions of our upbringing, and felt morally superior in our opposition to the sins of that traditional world. Wars and the man for the hippies, or cis, straight, hetero, white. Oh yeah, he's got to bring up trannies. Oh, John, this isn't relevant. Jonathan's bringing up trannies again. He fucking hates him. He's a phobe. Cis, straight, hetero, white, supremacist, Christian, nationalist, fascist for us. Yet our counterculture freedoms resulted in lives that are disordered, riddled with risky behavior, and not conducive to stable integration of family units. Hello, polyamory. Man, he's getting a little cattier. And I think he's just fucking tired of this.
I think he's trying to, maybe sooner or later, going to get kicked out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't know. It's a tough move for John DeLynn, because Jonathan holds a lot of street cred in the ex-Mormon world. So it's tough to get rid of him. And I think he holds a lot of, like, I think John DeLynn truly does actually, in his personal life, respect Jonathan. So I think it's personally tough for him as well. As a result, there are no hippie communes around today. Also because communes don't work. There's that. Yes, there is more freedom outside of the church. There is also less stability. It turns out that stability is way more important to integration families and society as a whole. In the grand family tree, Mormons are branches that keep on going, and ex-Mormons are going to be more likely to be stumps that are nipped in the bud. Oh man, he should have said butt there. That would have been funny. That little malaphor. We had a guy at work that he was a fucking idiot, and he got that one wrong all the time. He gets up there in a meeting where all of us are there, and he's like trying to squash one of his personal grievances. He's like, we got to nip this in the butt. And we're all like looking around at each other. Like, did he say butt? Does he think it's nip it in the butt? And we're trying to figure it out. And he said
that was one of the ones most people thought it was that way until it became really popular to correct people on it.
Yeah, I don't know. But this was just like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago. And he's talking about nipping it in the butt. And we're like, I think he's saying butt. Is he saying butt? And then finally, the last time he referenced it, he's like, yeah, I just thought I'd nip that in the ass. I was like, oh my God, he said butt. He really said butt. Sorry, now I lost my spot.
Well, you remind me because I found the watching Candace Reed Twitter thing.
Okay, well, here it is. I found my spot. But they will be able to drink coffee. It is a trade-off. See, he sent another screenshot that was it is a trade-off thing, and we said that. I didn't know it was him talking about it. I was like, oh, this guy's read some soul. I get it. And the more I read, the more I recognized. I was like, oh, it's just Jonathan. I know it's not the same for all ex-Mormons, but it's at least something to think about. Churches are collections of truth claims on shaky foundations, but they are also collections of ideals, norms, traditions, and values that have survived decades or centuries because they are useful and stabilizing to the individuals, families, and societies that inhabit them. When we abandon the truth claims, we should be very careful about abandoning some of those values. They are precious. If young people see the differences in the trajectories, they might like the idea of potlucks, trunk or treats, and youth dances more than disordered lives spent navigating intersectional grievances and having no ideals to aspire to and no roles to aspire to.
Yeah, and so that's the end of the other one, right? Yeah, and so then of course you got Colby down there with his Jonathan, your brilliant analysis. To me, this
is a false dichotomy. And did you see what I did right there?
Because it is. Colby's always got his Rolodex of fallacies out.
Yeah, no, he said, this is a false dichotomy. And me impersonating him like that is an indirect ad hominem because I am making him sound stupid, therefore attacking him personally rather than his stupid argument.
I guess I used a straw man because I bet he doesn't have like an actual Rolodex of so.
Yeah, you did. He does not have a real Rolodex. So fuck the fallacy editors.
Anyway, here you go. Candace Owens trying to read is the Twitter handle.
1,000 ways that you can honor Charlie. Stop telling us that it has to always be Miss Macabre. Like
Macabre,
Mike. We don't actually have to have any of that.
Are you trying to like find the whole channel of
Macabre? I thought she would have said at least macabre.
So it's a philosophy class called Senior Sem, and he used to come in every day with a debacle, and he would ask us to just work through the philosophical question. I remember that whole debacle thing, this debacle with her.
Is that an accent? There's no accent that says debacle.
Not an accent. See, I thought this when I listened to so I read the first Jordan Peterson 12 Rules book, and I had it on audiobook, so I listened to it while I read it, and instead of havoc, he always said havoc. And I was like, is he mispronouncing that or is that a Canadian thing? And I looked it up. Yeah, it's a Canadian thing. They pronounce it fucking weird. But I can't think of a single American accent that says debacle.
Hampton's debacle came up. The Brett Kavanaugh hearings and debacle involved in this entire debacle, okay?
This is a delegitimatize
racist ideas, right? It wasn't because
he
was trying to delegitimize him.
No, that was the one. I told you there was one I was going to point out.
Every day, Candace is up on this show like Miss Cleo from the 90s and just like predicting what she thinks happened. It's such a ridiculous way to try to delegitimize the research that we have done.
I mean, the thing is, like, she makes
all of these false allegations.
She makes them over and over and over.
We want the CEO and the chairman of Turning Point USA to answer. Okay? You can't compartmentalize, then I don't see how you're going to be able to. We don't like them. We don't agree with the industries they went into. All of that can be true. But you have to be able to compartmentalize that when you are looking at a case. Since long before this ever broke out between her and Justin Baldoni, that we have to compartmentalize. Blake Lively is not a good person. Or Donald Trump from the #MeToo movement. It is very important to compartmentalize how you feel about somebody personally from how you are. Can't compartmentalize.
I mean, just over and over.
But really,
Architecture.
it was about the architecture. I want you to understand.
Sitting
there across from Alex Clark, like, Catholic, no, he just liked the architecture. And I no longer accept him and Erica. And he liked the smells and the bells. He loved the architecture, but there was no more substance for him. Be like, yeah, no, like he loved the architecture of things, but beyond that, nothing was happening. I think this may have been about more than the architecture. The architecture of things, the texture, and the architecture.
I don't know. Nobody ever corrects her.
So there was this guy at work who would get really mad at misused words. And so, like, my dad works out there too. And so he would, any chance he got, my dad would say the word irregardless in front of him. Or there's one guy who...
That's one of the ones that kind of became cliche.
Yeah.
Blue Meanie says Bill Real does this with words all the time. That is true. I've noticed.
Oh, yeah. I need to think of some, but like I do the same thing with, there's this one guy, me and him always notice when people say supposedly.
Oh, yeah. Supposedly.
Or
irregardless. You know how like everybody will say like, I hate the word moist or I hate the word irregardless.
Yeah, no,
I kind of had like one of your knee-jerk reactions, just in the sense that so many people said that they hated the word irregardless, kind of like saying they hated Nickelback. I got to the point of saying, I'm letting the irregardless go. In fact, I stand for irregardless.
No, that's what I was gonna bring up moist, but I've clearly brought it up several times before. Anytime
I say I stand because it's
I hate the word moist. No, you jumped on the bandwagon. You never hated the word moist until you watched How I Met Your Mother or talked to somebody who watched How I Met Your Mother. Shut the fuck up. You don't hate that word.
Blue Meanie says is escape. Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's the Idaho accent. Well, it's Utah accent too. It's instead of when there's a double E, you'll just do like a short I sound, like instead of wheels. A lot of Utahns or Idahoans
That's a
will
Utah
say,
accent.
Yeah, they'll say wills.
I do that,
and it actually fucked me up. Yeah, you do. It fucked me up because my mom has that really bad, and so I thought a windowsill. I thought it was a window seal because I just assumed that my mom was mispronouncing it growing up. Anytime she'd say windowsill, I was like, it must be seal. Because she would also say, oh, we're going to the garage cell.
Like for towel, we'll do towel.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Then the cutting the glottal stop of the mountain. I totally do that when
Mountain.
I'm
see, it was weird. I kind of naturally, when I came back from my mission, started saying mountain. I always said mountain before. I don't know if it was because I was trying to pronounce something in a different language or what, but yeah.
I have a friend who's got the way southern Utah accent where he'll say crack and palo and it'll drive me nuts. Milk.
Palo.
Milk. Yeah,
that's my mom. That is my mom for sure.
The evolutionary men and women thing.
Fathers produce a hormone in great quantities called vasopressin. Vasopressin is the protective aggressive hormone. And what does it do? It helps fathers to protect their family. There was a study that was done where mothers and fathers lay in bed and the baby cries and the fathers sleep through the baby's distress cries, but the mothers wake up right away. Okay. But with the rustling of leaves outside the window, the mothers sleep through it and the fathers wake up right away.
I've told this to Morgan.
The fathers are...
Oh my God, I've said this to Morgan so many times. She's like, you could sleep through the baby shrieking, and I wake up if he goes in the baby monitor. And I'm like, yeah, because I've listened to shit like this before. I'm like, no, this is real. This isn't me being lazy. I swear to God. Because anytime there's like I get up. I grab my fucking gun and I search the entire house, no matter how tired I am. And anytime the baby goes, you're like, do we need to go get him? And I'll wake up. I'm like, no, he just went,
Well, I guess it's real and it's hormonal.
It's real. I've heard this before, and I felt so valid and heard.
Me trying to get into Mormon heaven.
Because I got a little bit high.
and it's been fucking years, so you got to help me out here with this. Oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
Well, I don't remember the fucking greeting code because fucking years, so you got to help me out.
Did you see Risto's question in? I don't remember if it's Thoughtful Saints. I think it was Thoughtful Saints. Of what Mormon heaven do apostates end up in? And I just responded. I was like, I'll let you know when I get there. Please visit me from the terrestrial kingdom. And Mike Zitar is very partial to us. So he was like, nah, man, that's not how it's gonna be. You'll get your chance.
I showed this one to you already, but this autistic guy figured out that David Archuleta played a gig for Jeffrey Epstein at Lex Wexner's house.
Text everybody up to a challenge from Pablo. So we could see the photo, we could see the attire they were wearing, the setting with the white chairs and the people in the back and what they were wearing, knowing, Les Wexner and like doing very basic research. Every single year he would host a event called the New Albany Classic that would bring people in and host like equestrian or like...
Yes, this is an equestrian event, it turns out. Held every year for like 20 years.
So through a David Archuleta performance at the New Albany Classic, there was a chair in the background that looked like the same chairs. This is the chair that it was a white chair that had the same design with the same screw. But the thing is,
is this your nomination for Autistic Hero of the Week?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I figured because I was listening to him and I was like, we're talking about accents. This is the autistic accent.
Yeah. This guy's one of those guys, you might have seen it, you can show him a picture from anywhere on Google Maps and he can guess right where it is.
Yeah, I mean, he just said he's autistic.
Yeah.
Can't confirm location based off of chairs. Chairs are rented. At first, I was going through the cup Epstein was holding. It's like maybe the cup is a hint because literally everything is a hint. And while I was zooming in on the cup, I noticed behind the cup on Les's wrist, there was a wristband that ended in IC. If you look at the IC font on the wristband, it also matches to the exact same font that ends the New Albany Classic branding. I went through some old articles and I found the old domain for the newalbanyclassic.com and then put that through the Wayback Machine. I think through like a 2002 archive gave me a map of the property and like where they would have been sitting. And so then I used that map plus another YouTube video someone posted in I think 2009 that had like a slideshow of different photos from the event that I was able to match the tree in the back with the Epstein file photo in Les Wexner's house.
Release the Epstein list so we can get that David Archuleta.
Oh man, they really thought that vaccinating us into mass autism was going to be able to fuck us over, and it gave us superpowers.
We need to bring about Aztec law.
Somebody was cheating you, they had fake weights, you could call the police over. And the police would whip out their scale, and they take the official weights, and they weigh that merchant's weights against their weights. And if the merchant was cheating you because they had fake weights, the Aztec police carried a sword with them, and they executed the merchant right then and right there in front of them. Now, here's the twist. If the weights weren't wrong, you died.
Hey, okay, so I had this discussion.
Accusers got killed. False accusers got killed.
I think I might have brought this up before, and I brought it up as kind of a joke to one of my friends, but you got to tell me the flaw in this logic. I really want there to be a flaw in this logic. I'm not even kidding you. He was talking about the whole eye for an eye thing. And the idea is an eye for an eye in the world goes blind. And every time I've heard that, I've thought, well, not really. Because
one eye.
Yeah. Like if I'm really into gouging eyes out,
you get a bunch of well-behaved one-eyed people.
Yeah. Even if you don't get the well-behaved ones, I'm so into gouging eyes out that no matter the consequences, I will be gouging eyes out. And I come up to you and I gouge your eye out. You're not blind. It sucks because you just have one eye. You're not blind though. They're going to gouge my eye out. And then I'm going to be super I'm still super into gouging eyes out. The consequence wasn't enough for me. So I go to another guy because I'm not going to go to you again, probably. I'm going to, unless I'm really vindictive, I'm going to go to another guy and I'm going to gouge his eye out. And then they'll be like, oh, you gouged this guy's eye out. We got to gouge your eye out. And so now I have no eyes and I'm blind. But you and the other guy, the guys that I gouged one eye out of each, you're not blind. It sucks for you because you only have one eye, but you're not blind. So to me, it's more like eye for an eye, and people who are sexually attracted to gouging eyes out go blind, and then innocent people lose one eye. Like it kind of seems like a winning formula to me, you know? Like because the ones that really want to gouge an eye out, but really don't want their eye gouged out, they're not going to do it. The ones that learn after one eye, they'll be like, okay, I'm fucking not doing that anymore. That really hurt. And I want to be able to see out of my one eye. They're not going to do it anymore. And then the ones that power through the consequences, they're going to go blind. So they're not going to be able to gouge any more eyes out. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe it's a whole vindictive thing. I'm sure Jordan Peterson would explain to me why I'm archetypically incorrect or whatever, but I don't know.
No, I think we could make you emperor and go.
Like we're just gonna. In fact, if I were emperor, it wouldn't even be that. If I were emperor and somebody gouged Chris's eye out, I'd just gouge both of his eyes out, and then he's blind, so he can't gouge any more eyes out. It's two eyes. Stricter. Yeah, no, that's
two eyes for an eye.
Yeah, that's the formula. That's the winning formula is two eyes for an eye.
I think that aligns with game theory.
Yeah, I'm just doing the math here. Fuck, I'm the autistic hero of the week.
We'd be remiss if we skipped over that this week came out the giant women versus the dwarves. And I guess I could just zip through the whole video like that. The dwarves squashed the giant women in the contest and beat them in all of them.
I guess I would say there's a couple of those competitions where it's like, okay, like squats. The dwarves, they do have shorter legs, but also they only have to go down like 2 inches to do a squat. And the women have to go down like 12 inches to do a squat. So there's that.
Everybody in lifting knows that anybody who's more compact is always a little bit.
Yeah, but also the carrying someone thing. That's the big one. The one where they.
Did you freeze or did I freeze?
Why am I? We're hearing the replay. Is that you?
I don't think it's me.
Oh no, that's me. Sorry, I accidentally hit the replay button.
Oh, no problem.
Anyway, go on.
No, I mean it's just this. I mean, people should watch the whole video. Philion covers it there, but I think you can go find the original. I don't. What is the original? Jesse James West covers it. And they squash him. They beat him in the wrestling, in the road carrying, and all that sort of stuff.
That was the crazy part to me, was that like there was a competition where one dwarf had to sling an Amazonian woman over his shoulders, like snoo style, and then the Amazonian woman had to sling a dwarf over her shoulder, and they had to just race, like a foot race, like that, and the dwarves just dominated that one. And I'm like, that doesn't have the excuse of like there's only 2 inches that you have to squat. Like, you guys got your asses beat, and the wrestling one too. Like, you think if you just like put your hand on the dwarf's forehead, you could just like bully him down? Nope. Man, they got their asses kicked.
My son said he's not doing well in one of his classes. He sent me this.
That the sample contains no more than one unmarketable tomato. No more than one unmarketable tomato.
What the fuck was that?
You know, I was.
One more than
I had some college classes at the U that were that bad in math.
I feel like it's not unreasonable to say that you ought to be able to fluently speak the language in order to immigrate here, let alone teach children. What the fuck?
Yeah.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I think that's what she said. I think you figured it out. You've got the ear.
Yeah.
You're the whisperer of that type of stuff. Anyway, I think that's about rounding up all the stuff, and I'm getting to the point I need to go walk a dog, hitting the 3-hour mark, unless you had something else you wanted to add in or say.
Nope. I don't think so.
Hopefully, a civil war won't be fully upon us by.
Oh
next
man,
week.
Tim Pool is gonna kick your ass for that
Yeah,
one.
you'll be so mad.
Hey, did you watch any of those? Oh man, those Kino Casino things on the quartering were just hilarious.
You sent the video, but I haven't watched it yet. But I guess he got like drunk and started saying wild shit.
Well, I've watched a couple of them. He does it a lot.
Really?
He goes, yeah. So we made fun of John DeLynn for making that TikTok with Cara Burrell for like, you watch porn. No, you watch porn. We're like, well, that's weird because I know you're trying to make a joke, but there's no punchline. So it's like you were just trying to talk about sex with a coworker who is a young, fairly attractive woman. But whatever. We kind of made fun of him for that. But John DeLynn did a good job never drinking alcohol, because if he drank alcohol, he would be like the quartering. And we make fun of the quartering a lot because he is really, really bad at his job.
He's fast. He's fast. You got to give him credit. He's the first one to report on stuff going on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find yourself, but he's kind of faster than you.
Yeah, but I could be fast too if I were that bad.
Yeah, if you were sitting on Twitter all day just waiting for the next thing.
If I were just like, I want to take the right-wing interpretation of literally anything that ever happens, and I'm just like scanning news headlines, yeah, I would be that fast too, easily, and I'd be better than him.
I get out ahead of a bunch of these guys, but that's what shocks me about the quartering is because like a lot of times I'll see the Matt Walsh show. I'm like, I could have done Matt Walsh show today. I saw that stuff first. I mean, he's got his own take and his things on it, but quartering gets out ahead of me having seen stuff. I'll see new stuff from quartering here and there.
Yeah, well, quartering, he gets a little bit ahead of himself because he's like trying to build an empire off of a fucking YouTube channel. And granted, he got a lot of views back in the day, but part of it is he's always begging for money, talking about how like we got to keep the lights on, man.
Not gonna go very much.
I got to be able to
out of this.
Yeah, I got to be able to pay my staff. So we need 8 more Coffee Brand Coffee subscriptions or whatever the fuck it is. And then somebody points out like, but aren't you building like a second 2-car garage on your multi-million-dollar home? He's like, I'm not allowed to have money. But then the worst part is anytime he gets a woman on there.
How did he get on her money? Oh, go ahead.
Well, he was having like 70 million plus views at his heyday. So, but no, anytime there's a woman on there, he's like, all right, so Mary's going to come on the stream, and he's drunk. Mary's going to come on the stream, and if we get 5 $20 super chats, she'll be topless. She'll show her titties. And he clearly hasn't talked about this to her before. But if we don't get those super chats, she's gonna wear a lame burgundy sweater. And clearly he sees her in the backstage wearing a burgundy sweater. Oh no, and he's like, so you're not gonna show the titties? And it's just like
he talks that way to him.
Absolutely. Seriously, watch the Kino Casino that I sent.
There's no way I just wouldn't talk that way to chicks, especially if like I'm a married guy. But even if I'm not a married guy, like just sitting there talking to him.
No, it's not even a married guy thing. I've never spoken to a woman like that, and I sound like a faggy me tooer at this point. But these guys, these Kino Casino guys, like, I mean, it's Andy Worski on there, and then I can't remember the main guy's name.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he kind of cleaned himself up, but like, fucking hell, watching these guys, they're shit posters like us. They're about like what we do, and holy fuck, they're like, oh my god, dude, you can't talk to a woman that way. What are you doing? You're asking her to show her tits on stream, and he's doing it in a way that's like,
you know who does it, and I can't stand it. You might see because you watch enough Corolla, and I think he can even be kind of funny. But Greg Fitzsimmons. In fact, anytime Greg Fitzsimmons comes on, I comment in it and say they're going to be talking about gooning. He talks about gooning, but if he has a woman on at all, he'll even say beforehand, like, women get creeped out by guys, but they don't get creeped out by me because I know how to talk to them. I know how to talk to them. Like, do you like to play with your vagina and stuff like that? And, and he'll almost like try to curb it off by announcing to them beforehand that he doesn't creep them out. Like, I don't creep women out. I know how to talk to them. I know how to make it funny. Do you like to show your boobs? And he'll just do it that like his preemptive statement about himself makes it not creepy.
It's the I'm just kidding, not fallacy, but like tactic.
Yeah, it's like the
an I'm just kidding tactic.
And then say an offensive thing to somebody.
Yeah, well, I remember talking to the woman I worked with, and she was telling me about a dude that we both work with, and he was being creepy, dude. Because on Christmas Eve, we needed 2 people to come out, and creeper dude and the woman I work with went out, and she's like, while we were out there Christmas Eve, most of it is just hanging out and monitoring shit. So they're not doing much, but they're just sitting in a room together. And he's like, wouldn't it be like funny if we just like had sex? And she's like, what? I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but like, wouldn't it be funny? I would never do it. I would not cheat on my wife. Okay.
It's totally.
And then like 30 minutes later, he's like, you were joking, right? Like trying to make it sound like it was her idea in the first place. She's like, joking about what? He's like, about the affair. Oh, the affair. Yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm not gonna cheat on my husband. Yeah, me too. I never do that. And it's like he thinks he's dumb enough to think he has this plausible deniability that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that sort of thing drives me crazy. Like when they think they're getting away with something which almost like most of the entirety of the male feminists of the left are living, walking half the population of those guys. Like, I'm totally feminist and stuff, but I can get away with saying stuff because they know I'm cool. I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't, and you won't. And that's not how that works.
I can say stuff like, I'd put my cock inside you, and they're like, wow, that's funny because I know you're joking.
The always prescient Norm Macdonald, he told us so much in the past about what would happen in the future and all that sort of stuff. But he told us in his movie Dirty Work about what's actually going on in the world when you get these riots and stuff.
What do we do now?
Hey, homeless guys. I'll tell you what. I'll give you $1 each. You go to this building here and run around yelling and screaming.
That's very nice, but I think what you probably need are like some psycho, out of control homeless guys.
Yeah, we're more the broken, spiritless, I've lost the will to live type homeless guys. How about for $2?
What is this?
It's Dirty Work. You never saw Dirty Work?
No, I never saw Dirty Work.
Yeah, that's a Norm Macdonald's his starring role that took off, became a cult classic, but it didn't hit huge when he first dropped it. So, but anyway, I got to get on. The dog's jumping on me. He's got such a timer in him; it's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta go watch a Kurosawa film or something.
Yeah, Kurosawa is hard for me to watch, and I absolutely love him. But I'm so used nowadays to be doing something on the side or looking at something.
That's what I was.
You got to be watching and reading the things.
No, I know. That's what I was trying to say to Reese, though. Is like I am so millennial brained that like
I am bad too nowadays. That
I can't watch
sit staring at a screen.
Yeah, I don't watch things if I can't also play a video game and I know that like. Objectively, I'm wrong for that.
Yeah.
Like I
Especially
know
Kurosawa, it's worth seeing them. It's worth doing the work and
yeah,
yeah. It's gotten hard since I used to be better at it for sure. So anyway, give it a try, give it a whirl, give it a whirl. Do it one time. It's like raw dogging a film. I raw dogged a film. What's raw dogging a film? I watched it. I watched every second of it. Whoa! You raw dogged the film. Do you see all that stuff? What's his name? Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Rogan. And part of the stuff they were saying is that to make they're kind of griping about their Netflix movie, and I think they're kind of hinting at it because I watched it. It's kind of in there, and they said Netflix says you have to restate what you are doing every couple minutes.
Yes.
Because people are watching on their phones. So you have to retell them what the plot line is every 5 minutes. We need to make that sure that's in there every 5 minutes.
That's so depressing. But like I'm part of the problem, so I can't even be mad about it.
Oh, totally. I've definitely become part of the problem. I've lost the discipline. We need to get to the discipline. We need to get to Kurosawa discipline.
Discipline.
To get back to discipline, and we rediscover. Yeah, so we got to do it. Raw dog a film. Watch the whole thing all the way through. That's the homework. Raw dog a film.
Well, later, my apple cider vinegars.
Later.